9BF Rochester, the sports leader. 95.7 FM and AM 950. The Fan, Rochester, an Odyssey sports station.
It's time to start the show and talk about the sports we saw. Inside jokes and takes from Danger and Battaglia. Bills and the Sabres and the Amherst. Who gave a microphone to these jerks? Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. With Danger and Battaglia.
Hey there! How you living? Welcome into the Sports Bar. Danger and Battaglia. Glad you're with us. Thanks for listening along at 95.7 FM, AM 950, the free-to-download Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps, and also streaming live on our YouTube channel and on Twitch at The Fan Rochester. I'm Mike Danger. He's the birthday boy, Gene Battaglia, and another day, another...
Meet the Mets.
Give the people what they want, Gene. They want a rant.
Greet the Mets.
They want...
I'm staring Danger down now. I want to thank you and Catalana, all my friends, because I'm working today. And then all of a sudden I get a text like, check on Gene. Why are we checking on me?
Check on your well-being.
Yeah, why?
Well,
Why?
one, it's your birthday. Two, we want to make sure you're okay when you heard the news that Pete Alonso is signing with the Orioles. Not just signing with the Orioles, that's the second largest contract the Orioles have ever given somebody.
Well, can I just say this because we do have a lot of Oriole fans. Good that they're finally deciding to spend a little bit of money. Good for you. And you'll like Pete Alonso, especially in that ballpark. And it'll make the Orioles a little more interesting. I'm just wondering, what the hell is the plan with the Mets here? Like, you have the richest owner in baseball, and you're acting like the Milwaukee Brewers because that's where the GM came from, basically.
Every Mets fan I've talked to or engaged with has said the same thing. This is awful.
It's terrible.
Just awful.
It's terrible. Like I when the Nimmo trade happened, I'm like, all right, trying to justify this in my head. 3 years from now, is Nimmo really? He's not a good defensive left fielder. And you get Simeon, okay, it's a wash, okay. But we all love Nimmo. That was our guy. When the Diaz thing happened yesterday. Oh, dude, no.
Breaking news in the sports bar. Mr. Met has signed now with the LA Dodgers as well. He's leaving. He's had enough of the organization. They should do it live in LA. It worked out well in Queens.
Yeah, right. That's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you. And the next World Series, when it's the Dodgers against pick a team, the Astros, there will be Edwin Diaz coming out to save the World Series. Dude, I should have saw this coming. Devin Williams, 3 years, $51 million. And Yankee fans are like, what the hell is that? I'm thinking, that's not bad for a setup guy. He's going to be the setup guy for Diaz. No, he's going to be the closer.
Guy.
3 years, $69 million. Diaz goes for only $18 million more, even though he is way better than that. And then today, sure, Pete Alonso leaving. 5 years from now, this might not look good. I don't care. You're the Mets. Act like every other team in this position. It's almost like the Mets are preparing for 2028. When you have a salary cap.
If I was a Mets fan, I know you have a lot of emotional investment in Pete Alonso, but I wouldn't be that upset about him leaving. I really wouldn't. I think you're talking about a guy now that's kind of like at the end, and will the Orioles get full value from Pete Alonso for what they're paying him?
Yeah, he's right now. You could still play him at first base, but really you should play him at DH if you're a serious contender.
You're right. Yeah, I wouldn't be too broken, but the Diaz thing I get. I get being upset at that. The Alonso thing is like, if they want to overspend for Alonso, then let them. Maybe they'll get some value in the first year or two, but that feels pretty lucrative for Pete Alonso at this stage of his career.
So the Mets still have Soto. They still have Lindor. Back to what you really said. It's one of those days, Danger. You know this. It's like you're an adult. You're not like, yay, everything, my birthday. But you do take inventory where things are at.
Of course.
So, I mean, that's what you do. And I'm like, I'm pretty lucky. I'm not going to, so I'm trying to weigh this. Like, that there are real problems in the world, and me bitching about the Mets is not a problem.
It's almost a privilege
Yes.
that you get to bitch about the Mets. Well, happy birthday, Gino. Did you take inventory?
Can I get a ruling on this? Because you mentioned that Sandy celebrated a milestone. We didn't exactly say what milestone it was.
I'll say it. It's 50.
50, yeah.
She'd probably kill me when I get home. So if I'm not here tomorrow, you know why.
It's fine because, I mean, how many people in Greece knew she went and in what class? I mean, we could all kind of use deductive reasoning.
She don't like talking about it. I get it. But I also think it's a little bit much to say. I don't talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Now, this might be a little inside, right? But it didn't hit me until this morning. Like, oh, my gosh. Is this a milestone or not? Danger, when you're buying radio time or in television time or any time, you're a big Nielsen ratings guy. What's the one big, broad demographic that people always kind of point to? Adults 25-54.
You're out of the demo, pal.
I'm out of the
You're out of the demo. Congratulations.
I'm out of the demo. I don't
You've
exist.
aged out of the demo.
I don't exist.
No, you do. There is a demo for you. That demo is now 35 to 64. That's your demo.
Oh, I thought you were going to say 55
Hey,
plus.
we're on the AM band. It's okay. Your demo is right there, 35 to 64. That's your demo.
I know I've acted like the old guy for a long time, but in my mind, I'm like, no, I'm not really the old guy. Yeah,
I only listen to the sports bar on AM 950.
AM radio is where it's
AM radio is where it's at.
Come on, I'm not the only one that still listens to our station on 950, am I?
I'm Gene Battaglia. I've aged out of the demo, and I only listen on 950.
WROC AM, Rochester.
I listen in the app. That's me. But, Gino, you do you. If you, being out of the demo, feel more comfortable listening on the AM band, who am I to say no? Or anybody who wants to listen. Hey, any way you choose to listen, we are gracious. We appreciate it. We know how many options you have for your sports information and entertainment. We give you plenty of different options to enjoy the sports bar and the programming here on the Fan Rochester, including the AM dial.
AM's where it's at, buddy. I'm going to go down with the ship. Great show today as he's one of our favorites, even though he's based in Boston. See, this is why I want to hate Boston fans, but then we meet a guy like Nick Fitzy Stevens.
Yeah, Fitzy's great. He is a Choud. He is 100% a Boston guy, but he's not the insufferable Boston sports fan.
True.
I think that's the difference. And I'll say this, by the time we're done talking to Fitzy this afternoon, my question for the regulars in the sports bar is, are Patriot fans more insufferable than Chiefs fans? I think they are based on proximity. But Fitzy's going to lay out a case. I know that there are a lot of Patriot fans, insufferable Patriot fans, that have come crawling out of the woodwork. They went into hiding for a couple of years. Not just Patriot. I think Boston sports
fans. I mean, I'll give Boston fans, they're across the board. Unless you're Derek the pizza dude who's like, I love the Patriots and the Yankees. Like, no, you're weird there, buddy. But everybody else is like, oh, yeah, Celtics another championship. Oh yeah, the Sox. Hey, we're coming back. Yep, yeah. It's that Boston arrogance. I don't think there's any question.
Yeah,
we're kind of skewed because we're dealing with the Chiefs, and my horror danger is okay. The Chiefs, they are vanquished, but like any series of sequels of a horror film, Jason 1, 2, 3, 4. My gosh, here are the Patriots again, and now they're back to reclaim the AFC. We thought this was cute. We're like, oh, good, there's a contender. I remember one morning listening to Jeremy and Joe and WGR. They're like, we need a contender in the AFC East that would make things more. No, you jerks! You invited them to the table. What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, there's not everybody is high on what the Patriots could do to the Bills this weekend. This is Matt Perino yesterday joining us here in the Sports Bar.
I think there's probably a little bit of hubris from the Tom Brady era that still exists there. But you would think they're ready to welcome the Bills into their stadium and roll them. And I think it's the complete opposite. I think the Bills are going to smash them in a big way. In a big way. Guys, they haven't really played anybody. They barely beat a Bengals team with Joe Flacco and no Jamar Chase a couple of weeks ago. They wanted to lose that game to the Jets. The Jets just wouldn't let them on Thursday Night Football a couple weeks ago. And I know it's at home. And I think Mike Vrabel is a really good coach. And Drake May is a talented player. But, man, I think that they're playing the underdog card at Orchard Park right now. It's probably all up on the video boards and everything else. And I think they're just going to roll them.
So, and we'll ask Fitzy about that too, because there's a lot of people saying, yeah, the Patriots only have 2 losses and they haven't played anybody good. I don't really think they can apologize for their schedule. The schedule is the schedule. You play who's on your schedule, and it's not necessarily who you play, but when you play them. How can you explain a loss earlier this year to the Raiders? Well, it was earlier this year before we had the hologram of Pete Carroll coaching the Raiders. So Fitzy joins us at 4:25. We'll go to New England and we'll preview Bills Patriots with Fitzy from WEEI, our Odyssey Sports sister station. Later this hour, Wednesday, with PJ Glasser, the host of Send It In on the BetMGM network. Odyssey Sports Betting Insider. Insider calls are presented by BetMGM. Go check out all the latest lines today on the BetMGM app. And we'll also lay out to PJ our Baltimore Ease Holiday Bowl bracket.
Every single year we get these new title sponsors. Some of them are carrying over, and I'm sure you can kind of guess a few of them, but then there are some that we're going to spring on PJ. There's one I'm very excited about.
So I've seeded them from 4 to 1. We've got the top 4 seeds. We're not going to do them all because not all of them are meant to be read or said in the Baltimore accent. But number 4, the 4 seed would be Scooter's Coffee Frisco Bowl. The 3 seed, Duke's Mayo Bowl. The 2 seed, Valero Alamo Bowl. And the 1 seed, Idaho Potato Bowl.
The Boca? Boca didn't make the cut.
Boca didn't make. Thought about maybe a play-in round, but we went with the 4 seed.
I mean, there's some controversy.
Yeah.
Boca.
Yeah. Boca's on the outside looking in, and they've decided to boycott the Baltimore East bracket. But we'll run that by PJ. We'll get some winners in the NFL, Week 15, and we'll get his take. He follows college football season long like nobody else. We'll get his take on the bracket, on the college football playoff. Did they get it right? PJ Glasser stopping by in about 15, 20 minutes or so. You can join us anytime this afternoon. The Good Smoke Barbecue and Pub Wingman line is open for you at 866-4FAN, 866-4326. Enjoy award-winning barbecue from Good Smoke Barbecue and Pub at 135 West Commercial Street in East Rochester. GoodSmokeBBQ.com.
Yeah, let's take Linda from Webster. Hi, Linda. How are you today?
Hi. Happy birthday, Gino. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to Sandy on her momentous birthday. And I have a birthday on Saturday. All the good people. And today would have been my dad's birthday. So all the good people are here in December. And I will tell you, I am your demographic of 1. Okay, that's me. I don't know if there's anybody else in my age and gender demographic that may listen to your show, but hey, if there are, please call in. I would love to talk to you. Okay.
All right.
I got to ask Gino one question. Gino, did you get your birthday presents together or separate? You know, Christmas and birthday separate or together?
I got them separate growing up. I was pretty lucky in that regard. Yeah.
Okay. Good. I just wondered. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you got yours together. That's what you're saying.
No. I got them. I was far enough away from Christmas. I got them separate. So that's it.
Yeah, I think I take offense to Linda believing that she's the only female we have listening to the Sports Bar.
No, female age and gender. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, maybe we get a little bit guy talky here a little bit from time to time. I don't know. I mean,
anybody's welcome in the club, Danger.
We're very inclusive here in this sport. We will, we'll talk to anybody. Thanks, Linda.
Linda, thank you.
Appreciate you. Age and gender. Linda listens to us on the AM dial. 950. Just like Chino in that 35 to 64 demographic.
After that, that's it. Then I'm not allowed to work anymore once you're past 64.
Right. Nobody cares about
rules.
you.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about you. You just fade into obscurity in retirement. That's it. Let's get to the Bills injury report here, Gino. Some good news is Joe Biscaglia is reporting that Spencer Brown is good to go for Sunday. He's missed the last 2 games with that shoulder injury. That's great news for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, he's telling everybody he's good to go. So the difference there is you're going on the road. I think there's something to be said because you saw what happened there in Houston, and that place apparently is pretty loud. And you saw some little hiccups at the beginning in the Pittsburgh round. Well, Pittsburgh game on November 30th, if you get both tackles back on the road against a divisional opponent, hearing Dan Orlovsky kind of lay it out yesterday, like, okay, you go back to the ground game, that this Patriot team does give up chunk yardage on the ground. And to have a road grader like Brown back in there, okay, that's good.
Yeah. And by the way, also Bill's note here, Josh Allen for the 3rd time this season, the 18th time in his career, has been named the AFC Offensive Player of the Week.
So, okay, that's great. Did you see who was the AFC Defensive Player of the Week?
I did.
Now it's just kind of like, okay, we can't give it to one team too many times. Russell Douglas.
Yeah.
Because the Dolphins won and they beat the Jets, and Russell Douglas, 5 tackles, 2 pass breakups, and an interception, which he returned for 5 yards. Okay. You have another corner who had a sack, had an interception that flipped the win probability. It was one of the best defensive plays, not just in Buffalo, in the entire NFL this season. But because we gave that to Christian Benford last week, we want to kind of spread that around. Am I reading too much into that?
No, I don't think they can. I don't think the NFL, maybe they've done it before where they've given it to 2 people week after week. But I know that they do have a policy where if you give a team the offensive, you can't give them the defensive player of the week.
Wow.
I believe that is a policy.
Okay, so you would think that maybe Josh would get to the podium today and be like, give it to Christian again. Or
Sure.
Because I thought you could win it back-to-back, but that would make sense. You don't want a team clean sweeping the awards.
Right. And maybe it's happened. I'm not brushing up on my AFC or NFC offensive or defensive player of the week stats to know exactly how many times that's happened, if it's happened ever, but I'm fairly certain, as Sal Capaccio was putting it out earlier, that the NFL has a policy where the same team can't win both AFC or can't win both offensive and defensive player of the week in the same week. Which would explain that. But if you look at that stat line for Douglas, yeah, you kind of chuckle when you think about the game that the game, 2 consecutive games now in a row that Christian Benford has had. Yeah, he's more than deserving of that weekly honor.
If I can go to a story in Indianapolis, Danger, and we've got PJ Glasser coming up here. So not a surprise. Phillip Rivers, they announced it today. He spoke at the podium.
Yeah.
They wouldn't determine, they're not telling you who's getting the first team reps, but they are certainly leaving the door open to Rivers starting. But here's the thing that I just think is so cold-blooded, Danger. What number does Daniel Jones wear?
17.
What number does Phillip Rivers wear?
17.
Did Phillip Rivers take his 17 back?
Sure did.
How does that work? Because a guy goes on IR? Holy disrespectful.
What do you mean disrespectful that he took it from Jones? Guy's a future Hall of Famer. I'm going to take my number back. He probably paid him. He probably had to pay him for his number back.
He paid him. He hasn't made a dime yet back.
Yeah, he probably said, you know what, here's $30,000. Can I have my number? Would you do it for $30,000? No. Would you do it for $300,000? Because I've got it. I'm Phillip Rivers. I've made some money through my career. I know I've got 15 mouths to feed at home, but I can absolutely afford to pay for my jersey number.
If all things are equal, right, and again, maybe this is like you'll get over this pretty quick, but we get to next offseason and the Colts are weighing. Check that. Daniel Jones is weighing his option as a free agent. If the money's equal, like, do you go back to the Colts knowing that, all right, they thought of me so little that they gave my number right away when I got hurt?
That's funny. I'm curious as to what happens with Daniel Jones, but that's a story for another day. In the immediate future,
yes,
Phillip Rivers is going to be fun. Here's how crazy I am over this Phillip Rivers news. You don't know that I did this. Gino and I are playing each other in the playoffs in our work league here in fantasy football.
Don't tell me you picked up Phillip Rivers.
No, I would. Well, no, I wouldn't. But I will pick up one of his receivers. I picked up Josh Downs. I'm going to start Josh Downs. I'm going to start him. I don't have many options. My team isn't very good. I won 5 straight to sneak in and get the final playoff berth. I have nothing to lose. This is house money to me. I'm like, well, let's have some fun. Josh Downs catching balls from Phillip Rivers against Seattle and that defense. Sign me up. I'm in. That's how I need to be entertained by this. I will be entertained by this.
So here's how much I'm into this game. Okay, this is the late afternoon window. This is Seattle in Indianapolis. Bills play at 1. My son is coming home from college this week. I'm like, I might want to go out and watch that at 4 o'clock.
For sure.
I'm like, let's go grab dinner, watch Phillip Rivers get killed in Seattle.
I saw this stat. This crossed my feed. A little perspective on how long Phillip Rivers has been playing football. When he was in college, he actually played against Chris Weinke in the year 2000. You remember Chris Weinke?
Mm-hmm.
Florida State? The president at the time was Bill Clinton. I mean, to think that he's been playing football that long, still playing football, will likely play this weekend. Pretty remarkable stuff. Phillip Rivers lying to the media. And by the way, we have some McDermott McLies to get to today, too. Doesn't know what his weight is right now. They asked him, what are your playing weight? What's your play? He has no idea. But I wasn't really somebody that was going to be moving around a lot anyways. I was never really able to evade. I'm bigger than I was when I walked off the field in Buffalo, but really what's changed? I mean,
oh boy. Whenever they showed like the workout videos, remember Tom versus Time or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he'd be on the beach. What would he be doing a lot? It was always footwork. And I'm like, my gosh, look at the little pitter patter. It was almost like dance moves or whatever. But that's the underrated part of playing quarterback is just moving the feet, able to move around in the pocket. I'm sure there are a lot of guys that are like, I could still throw the arm. My arm feels fine. Yeah, your arm feels fine. But you know what? You got to put your body in a good position to make that throw. I'm just wondering, like, how is the footwork of Phillip Rivers? You haven't done this since 2020.
His oldest kid is older than Tyler Warren. This is crazy. I can't wait. I'm so excited for it.
It's a bad idea, Dane.
It's a horrible idea.
It's a bad idea.
I can't wait to watch it all. It's going to be great.
Join Danger and Gene. We're going to go out to Place X to watch Seattle and Indianapolis.
That's right.
This Sunday.
Let's get to PJ Glasser next. It's a Wednesday, and we'll talk to the host of Send It In, our Odyssey Sports Betting Insider, next on The Fan Rochester.
We can say we turned it over, I think, 3 times that game, which, you're not going to win many football games doing that. So, yeah, we got to have all hands on deck, and we're going to need everybody this week.
The good news, Spencer Brown says he is back. The right tackle practicing fully today. Tight end Dawson Knox was excused for a personal reason. We'll talk to PJ Glasser, your host of Send It In on the BetMGM Network. We'll talk about this in college football coming up. Pete Alonso is no longer a New York Met. Alonso today signing 5 years, $150 million with the Baltimore Orioles. Amerks Hockey tonight here on The Fan, the team in Belleville. Our coverage will begin at 7. Gene Battaglia, the sports leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950, The Fan, Rochester.
They've raised the bar on Rochester Sports Talk. You're in the Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia on the Sports Leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950 The Fan, Rochester.
You try and take every play and take everything out of every play that you can, from information to what we can do better, and that's really where we start with how we can do things better on our side. They're certainly a great team. I think they won 10 in a row or more, and where they're at in terms of the overall AFC picture, it'll be a big challenge for us.
There we go with the McDermott. I think they won 10 in a row. Yeah. Like, he'll take a known fact.
Yeah.
Lie.
You know they won 10 in a row. We welcome in the host of Send It In, Odyssey Sports betting insider, PJ Glasser. Insider calls presented by BetMGM. Go check out all the latest lines today on the BetMGM app. PJ, it's always fun to talk to you on a Wednesday. We'll get your thoughts on that Bills-Patriots game in a few. We'll want to get your take on the college football playoff bracket. But if we're going to talk brackets, if we're going to talk bowls, I thought we would start with, was it you that suggested this, Gino, or was it PJ? PJ suggested we look over some of these bowls that are coming up here. It is bowl season, and our favorite Baltimorean, PJ Glasser, if we can get a quick Baltimoreese bracket here for some of these bowl games. I've seeded them 1 to 4, and I want to get your take on these, if that's possible.
Please do. I'm excited to see what we've come up with, because I know these names of these bowl games are changing every year. So I'm excited to see what we got.
All right. Well, we're going to start with the 1 versus 4. The 1 seed this bowl season, I would say, is the Idaho Potato Bowl versus the 4 seed Scooter's Coffee Frisco Bowl.
So, good one. I love the word Frisco, but I think the fact that you have Idaho, the state, and the potato, that's the reason why she's the 1 seed. We'll go Idaho Potato Bowl.
Okay. No surprise there. No upset in the first matchup. And then the 2 seed, which you could make an argument, they felt like they got snubbed from the 1 seed. The Valero Alamo Bowl versus the 3 seed, the Duke's Mayo Bowl, PJ.
Everybody loves the Duke's Mayo Bowl because the head coach gets dunked with the mayo at the end of the game, which is always great. But the Valero Alamo Bowl, this is what started it all. Not only is it the Valero Alamo Bowl, but fellas, do you know where they play it? They play it at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. So that moves on to the finals.
All right, we need a decision here. It's been all chalk. The 1 seed versus the 2 seed, the Idaho Potato Bowl or the Valero Alamo Bowl being played at the Alamo Dome.
There's just nothing. The Alamo Bowl has got to take it. We need a year where Ohio plays Idaho in the Alamo Bowl. We need that 1 year, something. But fellas, that definitely is the winner for the Baltimore bracket of the bowls.
Oh my gosh! Like Notre Dame, did anybody get left out here? Are we upset that the Boca Raton Bowl or perhaps Miami, Ohio, in the Snoop Dogg Bowl got left out? PJ against Fresno State.
No, I think you guys did good. Those were definitely the solid 4. Like Danger was saying, maybe you could have gone with the Alamo Bowl at number 1, but I think the Idaho, Potato Bowl, solid. You guys did a good job, but yeah.
Although
Valero Alamo Bowl.
That Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl is pretty enticing just because of the teams playing Miami of Ohio and Fresno.
That is pretty good. Yeah, Snoop Dogg, Miami, Ohio, and Fresno. That's who we need playing at the Alamo Bowl, you guys. We need to get those 2 teams there.
Next year we'll have a play-in round before we get to the Final Four. PJ, did they get it right? You watch this sport closely. You pay attention to everything that goes on in college football through the course of the season. the ups, the downs, the twists, the turns. There's a 3-loss Alabama team in the playoff. There's a Notre Dame program that can't stop bitching about being left out. Did they get it right?
Mm-hmm. They did get it right, but the way that they went about it was the wrong way. You know, to have Notre Dame ahead of Miami the entire time leading up to the final reveal and then flip-flopping the teams when neither of them played, that was the wrong way to go about it. But, of course, Miami should be in over Notre Dame. I mean, they played, right? And Miami beat them. So the head-to-head tiebreaker in all sports is the end-all, be-all. So having Miami in was the right move, and having Alabama in was the right move as well. You can't punish Alabama for playing in a conference title game and moving them out of the playoffs, just like they couldn't do it with SMU last year. And for everybody out there who was saying, oh, but you keep Alabama in, but you leave BYU out, guys, BYU wasn't in the playoff before the conference championship weekend started, right? So it's just like in college basketball where some of these teams go into their conference tournaments and some of them have to win the tournament to get to the big dance while others don't have to. Alabama was one of those teams that didn't have to. BYU was. Their reward for making it to the title game was if they won, they got in. They didn't do it. So because of that, Miami is the last team into the field, and I think ultimately they got the teams right under the current format.
Let's talk about the 4 playoff games, the first round games. I'm going to lump the two, the two Cinderellas together here, PJ. Are you giving a chance either outright to number 11 Tulane at number 6 Ole Miss, considering all the drama around Ole Miss, or number 12 James Madison at number 5 Oregon? Or is the better way to look at it, is there an opportunity here with these underdogs and the points? What are your thoughts about these two long shots, PJ?
So I'll give you guys a bet in each game. I don't think either team's pulling off the upset. With JMU, they got a really good defense, and I think people are going to be impressed with how competitive defensively they are. With Oregon, the problem is the other side of the ball. I don't know how they're going to score against the Ducks. So I would look at like a first half under in that game. You know, I think JMU's defense for the first 30 minutes can kind of hang around, maybe muck it up and keep it ugly. Wisconsin, Northwestern, like some of those kind of Big Ten teams have been able to do that against Oregon this season. I think JMU can kind of do the same, and then ultimately the Ducks just kind of wear them down. So I would look first half under in that game. Oregon advances. And then I like Ole Miss in that game against Tulane as well. The Ole Miss game is interesting because a lot of people are approaching it with Ole Miss is going to have this us against the world mentality, right? Kiffin leaves them. It kind of rallies the team. They get closer. With this game being on campus, you know, the fan base is going to be behind them. But I kind of think maybe all that emotion, you know, sometimes it can be a good thing. Other times it can almost get you a little too overamped. And Tulane's a good team. I think they can keep it close in the first half as well. So that's how I'd look to play those big matchups. There aren't going to be any outright upsets. I wouldn't look to take the points full game, but I'd maybe look at Tulane first half, and I'd look at JMU Oregon first half under as well.
Will we see more chalk in the 9-8 matchup and the 10-7 between Alabama, Oklahoma, and Miami, Texas A&M, PJ?
So I like Bama against OU, you guys. When these teams played in mid-November, Bama outgained them by 200 yards, and they lost the turnover battle 3-0, including a pick six in that game. They also missed a chip shot field goal. Even despite all that, they only lost the game by 2. Now, Oklahoma's beat them the last couple of years, and I think schematically Venables does some things that gives DeBoer some trouble. But Bama's the better team. The fact that this game is in Norman and it's a pick'em would tell you that Bama's the better team because if they played on neutral, they'd be favored in the game. So even though they haven't looked very convincing here down the stretch these last 4 or 5 games, and they haven't been a great road team, they haven't won by margin very much. Like all the road games they play are very close. I think they're going to find a way to win this game by 3 points. If they turn the ball over again, they're definitely going to lose. If they take care of the football, lean on their defense, Oklahoma just does not have enough firepower offensively if Bama doesn't give them short fields and doesn't give them extra possessions that I think they win the game.
PJ, I think most of us here have watched enough ACC football, and we know what Miami is, and there they are. I don't know what Texas A&M is. Like, who is this team? The 7-10 matchup. Are they the team that can, throttle an LSU and get a coach fired? Are they the team that needed to rally big time from a down and out South Carolina team? Like, who is Texas A&M, PJ? How do you view the 7-10 matchup?
Gene, what's crazy is there was a graphic that was going viral at the end of the regular season where if you drew a line in between the top 8 teams in the SEC and the bottom 8 teams in the SEC, in terms of like record, A&M played 7 of the 8 bottom teams in the SEC this year, and obviously the only one that they played in the top 8 they lost to in Texas. So to answer your question, we don't really know, because even though the SEC is the best conference in college football, they didn't hardly play any of the top teams. They didn't play any of these other teams that are in the playoff along with them. So none of us really know how good A&M is. What we do know is that environment at Kyle Field and College Station is one of the best. Home field was a big factor in the playoff last year. I think it's going to be close. Miami's defensive line is the real deal. It just feels like the kind of game where Carson Beck is going to make a late mistake, and I think A&M prevails. So I'll take the Aggies at home. They're favored by 3.5, like you said. I'm hoping we get a 3. If we don't, I'd probably just look at A&M, money line parlaying them with something on the board.
He is PJ Glasser, the host of Send It In on the BetMGM Network, our guest in the sports bar, Danger and Battaglia on the Fan Rochester. As we shift gears and talk NFL, PJ, the game that we've spent the majority of our time talking about this week, a big game in the AFC East. The Bills looking to revenge a loss earlier this season to the hands of New England. The Patriots, the home team. What's your take on Bills-Pats for Sunday afternoon?
I like the Bills, guys. I know the Patriots are coming off a bye week, so they've had 2 weeks to prep for this game against Buffalo, but we all know it's tough to beat a team 2 times. The Bills, even though New England beat them in that Sunday night game, the Bills beat themselves. They had 3 turnovers. They lost the turnover battle. They had 11 penalties in that game. And with the injuries that New England had, that they've had these last couple weeks, these last few months, their run defense isn't what it was at the beginning of the season. They had the best in the NFL September, October. Now here, November and December, they're kind of middle of the pack. And we know when the Bills are at their best, they're running the football. So I would expect that kind of game plan. They know they can't turn the ball over, lean on the run game with Cook, let Josh Allen be Josh Allen. And I think Buffalo manages to get out of there with a win. It's going to be a close game, but I do like the Bills at a pick 'em right now.
BJ, it's December, and one thing we do know, bad teams, okay, they're looking to stamp on it. They're mailing it in. Arizona, I don't know when the coach gets fired. Is it in season? Do we have to wait until the day after the season? And I'm looking at this Texans line right now. I'm looking on BetQL. Texans giving up 9.5, which to me, that seems like right on the number there to me. It seems too easy, right? Like Houston needs this one, or are you just looking at it from the standpoint that Houston's offense maybe isn't quite right here? How do you play Houston, Arizona? Again, the line, Houston giving 9.5.
So I love Arizona this week, you guys. And the reason being, Texans are one of the hottest teams in football, no question. 3 straight wins against 3 really good teams, all as underdogs, right? They beat Buffalo as a dog. They beat the Colts as a dog. They beat Kansas City as a dog. This is like how I love betting sports, in certain teams where when you're getting them as underdogs, that's one thing. When you're getting them as a double-digit favorite, I get that defense is elite. But the offense, still, not great, So with Jacoby Brissett and Arizona, they have been putting up points. I just think it's too many. I think this is kind of the sell high right now on Houston. I love them when they're an underdog and they can lean on that defense to wreak havoc. But in these kinds of games, when they're a big favorite, maybe they're not as motivated as they've been the last few games. That was a massive stretch they just went through and a huge win against Kansas City. So I think it's a nice little letdown spot, and I just think it's too many points. So I like Arizona.
The Bears are at home, and they're a better-than-touchdown favorite over the Cleveland Browns on Sunday after that loss at Lambeau. And Cleveland, with a disappointing loss and giving Tennessee their second win. Which way are you leaning here?
Same kind of idea and danger. I mean, you know this as well as anybody, right? Would it just not be Chicago Bears like to lay an egg this weekend against the Browns, having this great season, last couple games? We all wanted to know how good the Bears are, right? The Patriots are getting ready to go through that stretch. They play the Bills Sunday, Ravens next week in prime time. We want to know how good the Patriots are. We wanted to know how good the Bears were. Well, they go on the road to Philly, win that game. They go on the road to Lambeau, had a chance to tie the game. I think Ben Johnson probably goes for 2 if they score, have a chance to win the game at the end. They got San Francisco, Green Bay, Detroit, all upcoming. 3 monster games. And all that stands in between is a game at home. And it's the same kind of philosophy, right? When you're getting the Bears as an underdog and you're getting the Bears as a team that people are counting out, they don't think they're any good, that's when I want to bet in Chicago. But, guys, keep in mind, this was a team that was favored by 3.5 at the Giants earlier this year. They were 4.5-point favorites against the Saints. I get the Browns are terrible, but we know they have a great defense. It is going to be frigid in Chicago on Sunday. They're calling for like -10 with wind chill. So with 2 good defenses and a Browns team that wants to run the football, I just think it's too many points. I like Cleveland plus 7.5 and would not be shocked if that's a close game late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, PJ Glass, your host of Send It In, BetMGM Network. One more in the NFL, and I also want to tag it with your thoughts on Phillip Rivers here too, PJ. The Packers, could you say the same thing about the Packers here? Because, hey, they're coming off this emotional win over Chicago. Now they got to go to Denver. But you see Chicago right on the schedule coming up next week in Chicago. So not that they're going to look past this Denver team, but I just find it curious that here's Denver, a 2 seed, and they're actually a home underdog in this game.
Exactly. And, Gene, it's the way that you said that I think a lot of people are looking at this game. How can 11-2 team with one of the best home fields in the NFL be an underdog to this Packers team that's been really up and down this season, and especially on the road, right? We watch them go to Cleveland and lose. They struggle with Arizona. They tied with Dallas when they were really struggling at the beginning of the year. But Green Bay, I think, is a team that plays to the level of their competition. They get up for these big games, especially on the road. When they played Rodgers on Sunday night, they smoked him in the second half. That Thanksgiving game against Detroit, they went in there and took care of business. So I think odds makers know, bettors know that Packers, they're a team that plays up to the level of their competition. They're starting to hit their stride a little bit. And these are their kind of games on the road that you want to back Green Bay. So I do like the Packers minus 2.5.
Yeah, and then for the Colts and the Seahawks, I'm just asking for what you do in your profession, PJ, because you lean on history. You look at trends, you look at numbers. There's a science behind it. What is the baseline for a quarterback that has been on the couch for 5 years and now all of a sudden he's going to re-enter the NFL? Danger and I are watching this like a car wreck. I don't know how you're probably staying clear of this, I would imagine, but I just wanted to get your thoughts as this line now has jumped 13.5. Seattle favored over Indianapolis.
Guys, the look-ahead line was 3.5. When we thought Daniel Jones was obviously going to play, Seattle was only favored by 3.5. Now, like you said, Gene, we're all the way up to 2 touchdowns. So to answer your question, I don't think any of us know, right? I mean, how do you handicap this when you have Daniel Jones as your quarterback, and then the Colts were already struggling to begin with when he was in there. Now he's out. You're either going with Riley Leonard or you're going with 44-year-old Phillip Rivers against one of the best defenses in the NFL in one of the toughest places to play, and you got to fly across the country. So it's just a brutal, brutal situation for Indianapolis. Yeah, this is just one of those games. I mean, it would only be Indy for me or nothing, to be honest with you. Like, I know a lot of people are looking at it would only be Seattle for me, but just keep in mind they do have a monster game against the Rams coming up on Thursday, right? And this is just one of those games they want to get in and they want to get out. They probably don't want to show the Rams too much on film. And the Colts are still battling for a playoff spot. They still got one of the best running backs in football in Taylor. They got a solid defense. Like, there are some ways that maybe they can try and move the ball up and down the field. I think other people are looking at it as Max Brosmer in Minnesota went into Seattle as an 11.5-point dog. So, like, are we really going to make Riley Leonard, Phillip Rivers a 14-point dog against Seattle? It feels a little too inflated to me. So there are some 14s that are starting to pop up. And now that we reached that point, I mean, even if it is Rivers, guys, I think if I had to bet it, like, that would be the only side for me.
PJ, before we let you go, I mean, big signing for your Orioles today. Did you want to talk about the potential first baseman and big bat that you just added to that roster?
Alonso, boys. We got Alonso. We got Pasayo. We got Mayo. We're all the way back, hon. Let's go, O's.
We're all the way back on. Throw some Old Bay on that. PJ, we're good to go. Talk about, send it in, and tell everybody about your show, how we can get more of your work.
1 to 1:30, fellas, every Monday through Friday. You can check us out on Send It In on the BetMGM Network, YouTube, Twitch, and X. We live stream the show. It's live, it's interactive, and we love for people to watch the show and chime in with any questions, any comments, any bets that they have. And, check us out, boys. I mean, we got that Alonso news right before the show broke, and as you can imagine, that was something right there. What a pleasant surprise that was.
Your team spending money. I'm happy for Oriole fans. This will look great. In 4 or 5 years, not going to look so good, but right now, hey, congrats.
PJ, appreciate it, man. Have a great week.
Thanks, fellas. Take care.
There's PJ Glasser, the host of Send It In. Find his work at the BetMGM Network, YouTube, Twitch. Follow him on X. It's Wednesday in the sports bar. We got some winners for you. So there's PJ's take on the Week 15 action and some college football as well.
I hope that when we're talking to PJ, like when you're listening, you're having as much fun as we're having, with him, because he's just a man of good humor, can roll with the punches.
Well, so much of betting information that like betting information used to just be strict. Like here's the line, here's the number, here's what I'm doing. It was very kind of like aggressive, where now it's more like wagertainment. I like that phrase. It can be entertaining. Like you can have it being delivered by personalities, and it's always been done best when delivered by personalities. I mean, we remember Jimmy the Greek and the Hammer, and
I was always hit over the head with the guys, the 1-900 number. I've got my lock of the week, and if you call me right now, like. Well, no, and like there is no such thing as a lock of the week. But kind of growing up, you're like, wow, does this guy have inside info that I need? I better call him, right?
Yeah.
No.
Well, PJ knows his stuff, and more than that, he's just a fun dude to talk to every week. And appreciate him making time for us here in the sports bar to give us his favorite plays on a Wednesday. Hopefully, you are able to cash in because PJ makes you a smarter sports bettor and a smarter sports fan. We have some McDermott McLies we have to get to, Gino, and. Immediately I'm going to throw a couple of clips your way. There is a McDermott clip from today on Drake May.
Okay.
There's also, this is the curveball, there's also a clip from McDermott today talking about Darius Slay.
In fairness, I did hear this one because people were reacting to this. Okay, we haven't moved off this storyline apparently. Is he lying in this, Danger, do you think?
Well, we'll review the coach speak.
Yeah.
We'll set the lie detector. We'll get you some McDermott McLies before we get to Fitzy from WEEI in Boston. He'll be joining us next hour as well. And you can join us. Plenty of time for you at 866-4FAN. That's the Good Smoke Barbecue and Pub. Wingman line, 866-4326. Award-winning barbecue from Good Smoke Barbecue and Pub. 135 West Commercial Street in East Rochester. GoodSmokeBBQ.com.
Leader 95.7 FM and AM 950 The Fan, Rochester, an Odyssey sports station. The Fan, Rochester, sports update.
Spencer Brown says he's back. The right tackle practicing fully today. Actually, today was just a walkthrough. Josh Allen is the AFC Offensive Player of the Week for the 18th time in his career. Allen on going up against New England quarterback Drake May.
He's playing like a veteran quarterback. He's seeing things extremely well. He plays at a great pace. Looks like things have slowed down for him, which again, we hate to see that, right? But I'm happy for how well he's playing because he's a great human being on top of being a football player, and we just gotta find a way to win on Sunday.
Nick Fitzy-Stevens, WEEI, joins us later this hour in the Sports Bar. Pete Alonso is no longer a New York Met. Alonso signing today, 5 years, $150 million with the Baltimore Orioles. The Amerks on the road tonight in Belleville. Andrew Mossbrooks will have your call beginning at 7 o'clock here on The Fan. Gene Battaglia, Sports Leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950, The Fan, Rochester.
It's time to start the show and talk about the sports we saw. Inside jokes and takes from Danger and Battaglia. Bills and the Sabres and the Amerks. Who gave a microphone to these jerks? Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. With Danger and Battaglia.
They know what they're doing to you. They know what they're doing to us. I mean, they're just feeding us rivers and rivers and more rivers, rivers at practice, rivers at the podium. They are setting us up for Sunday. They are setting us up for what could be a colossal train wreck or what could be really like a Hollywood story.
I'm saying this as a guy who's in advanced age with if I had a dad bod, that'd be great.
Who's advanced age, who's got a little bit more advanced today, by the way. Happy birthday to Gino.
Thank you, Danger.
No longer in the key demo of Adults 2554.
Nope. I'm getting my senior discount at the gym now, buddy.
Yes,
all right.
dude.
Yeah, like there are perks here.
Yes, dude.
All right. So take full advantage when you get there. My advice. They're showing, and this is leading everything, and they're Phillip Rivers doing what quarterbacks do. And normally it's the starting quarterback who meets with the media, as you just heard in the soundbite from Josh Allen, where Josh Allen will talk every Wednesday. Well, who's talking today in Indianapolis? Of course, it's Phillip Rivers. Danger, he's out there. He's got a double chin. He's got a dad bod.
He's also got a good 2 to 3 inches in height over any other option they have at quarterback, and a Hall of Fame resume. I think the guy is their best option. I hate to say it, but he is their best option. If Leonard can't go because Leonard is hurt, he has a knee injury, and even if he could go, I think Leonard could learn from watching Phillip Rivers in practice in the game more so than Daniel Jones. He's their best option. It's scary, but he is their best option.
I don't need Phillip Rivers lighting up the Seahawks this week and playing well down the stretch to give Tom Brady any ideas. All right? We don't need him like, I could do better than Gino. Put me in there, Pete.
Oh, boy. Yeah, can you imagine Tom Brady suiting up for the Raiders, the hologram of Pete Carroll as his head coach in 2026? This is the NFL, man. Crazy things happen, and this is one of the crazier things. And it seems like it happens more frequently in Indianapolis than any other place. I mean, this is the same organization that plucked Jeff Saturday out of a TV studio and said, hey, come be our interim coach. He gave us a lot of good sound then, just like Rivers gave us a lot of good sound today. It's
that's more egregious than this, though, right? Because if you're a coach on that Colts staff, they didn't promote somebody internally to be the interim coach. You pluck somebody with zero coaching experience. That's an affront to the profession. Like, hey, anybody can coach the team. Hey, Jeff, you speak well. Come on down, buddy.
Right. We'll see how it goes. Phillip Rivers reintroduced to the Indianapolis media. Lots of laughs as he was, talking about not knowing his current weight, how his kids and his family have been about him going back to play in the NFL after a 5-year hiatus. This is not the longest hiatus between NFL starts, by the way. I think you know who has that record.
It's got to be Flutie, right?
It's Flutie.
Yeah.
9 years between starts in the NFL.
9 times.
But to Flutie's credit, I mean, he was still playing the whole
He
time
was young.
in Canada.
Yeah, he was young. But and if he gets signed to the active roster, which we have no reason to believe he won't, it'll reset his Hall of Fame clock. He'll have to wait another 5 years before being considered for induction into Canton. The Bills got Spencer Brown. It looks like he's going to be back and good to go for Sunday as they did a walkthrough today. He missed the last 2 games with the shoulder injury. And Josh Allen named AFC Offensive Player of the Week for the 3rd time this season, 18th time in his career. I've got some McDermott audio from today, and I'm wondering if I can interest you in some McDermott McLies.
Can you interest me? Of course. We're degenerate gamblers, and if you're new to the show, what we like to do is Sean McDermott on Wednesdays, he's not going to tell you the truth the whole time. And I don't know how you work this technology, Danger, but it's fantastic that every time Sean McDermott says a lie, all of a sudden the bell will go off.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing how the AI works these days.
We've got it hooked up to our AI lie detector. And so the audio just automatically detects when McDermott is being less than honest with his answers. So I've got a couple on Drake May. There's also a cut here that the Dandalorian isolated on corner Darius Slay.
Now, this is a little more serious. In my opinion, a little more juicy. It's old news, right? Like, okay, he didn't want to report. I'm like, why are we talking about this at this point? He's not here. He's on the retired list, basically.
This is Sean McDermott. 21 seconds on Darius. How many do you think? What's the over-under on this? You're going to go low, aren't you?
4.
I'm going to go 4. Sean McDermott on Darius Slay.
Is there an update on Darius Slay?
No. If there is, I don't have it. So that's more of a Brandon question.
Got it. Mike Tomlin has that saying, I want volunteers, not hostages. Does there come a point where if he's not showed up, you'd rather he not?
You talking about Darius Slay? Yeah, I'm not going to answer questions about Darius Slay. Respectfully, that's a question for Brandon. I'm focused on our current team and this game this week.
He's pissed off at Brandon Beane.
It's also, you see his demeanor, like all he had to say was, no, we're focused on this game. If there's an update, I don't know. That's a bold-faced lie. He's on the retired list. I don't know whatever to tell you. Moving on.
Yeah.
Can you play that again? Because are we reading into this?
I hear an angry man, an angry head coach. And I think his anger is directed at his GM. I think it's directed at Brandon.
Is there an update on Darius Slay?
No. If there is, I don't have it. So that's more of a Brandon question.
Got it. Mike Tomlin has that saying, I want volunteers, not hostages. Does there come a point where if he's not showed up, you'd rather he not?
You talking about Darius Slay? Yeah, I'm not going to answer questions about Darius Slay. Respectfully, that's a question for Brandon. I'm focused on our current team and this game this week.
So if it's a question for Brandon, my question to Brandon would be, are you trying to convince the guy to suit up for the Bills, or is he truly going to retire?
Yeah, I don't know where Tim Graham was going with that. Like, is he suggesting that Darius Slay could all of a sudden, you know what, I'm going to join these guys. I want to try, which I guess remains in the realm of possibility.
I promise you, Sean McDermott is hoping that happens. You lost Jamarcus Ingram. You lost a valued member of your team, somebody that you've leaned on for years, somebody that's from the University of Buffalo, right? There's a lot of good things about Jamarcus Ingram that you no longer have in that locker room. What are you going to do to make it right? What are we going to have in the postseason if one of these corners gets dinged? You need Darius Slay. You need some. I mean, you signed a couple of practice squad guys. Okay, great.
Well, can you imagine if you have a situation where, oh my gosh, Christian Benford isn't out there?
Right.
Except you don't have Kyrie Elam. You don't have Jamarcus Ingram. Like, what would be the plan?
Sean McDermott, 22 seconds on the New England Patriots. Now, we played this leading into PJ, so this is already I think they have
So I feel like I have to recuse, but listen to how McDermott. This is another thing that I guess it would count as a lie when you state a fact being like, I think the sun comes up in the east and sets in the west.
I believe. Sun comes up in the east and the west, sets in the west, I believe.
They did a good job changing some of the roster over and bringing in some players, especially along the defensive front, perimeter players, wide receiver wise and whatnot. And, they're well coached. They do a really good job. Mike does and Josh McDaniels and across their coaching staff. You can just feel a difference in what they've done and how they're doing things. And so, we have a ton of respect, obviously, for the way that they've played this year in particular.
Oh, that was a different clip.
That's a different clip.
Yeah, I apologize.
Yeah. DeLorean gave you a lot today.
He really did. He really did. All right. Let's talk about McDermott and Drake May. I've got a couple of Drake May cuts. How deep is he going to go into his lies? His bag of lies for Drake May. 19 seconds.
I'm going to say 5. I'm thinking this is a good clip here.
Another year of experience, another year of maturity in the NFL and understanding NFL defenses. Really good player, very athletic, does a really good job in their offense in particular. And Josh does a phenomenal job of developing quarterbacks, Josh McDaniels. And, he's done it several times before, and this is no different. May is playing at a very, very high level.
Oh, 4. Who is the quarterback that Josh McDaniels developed?
I mean, he was so bold when he drafted Tebow, wasn't he? Jay Cutler couldn't wait to get away from Josh McDaniels.
What are we doing? Yeah, that's a lie. That's a big lie. Like, point to me the quarterback that Josh McDaniels. Oh, he coached Tom Brady. Yay!
I love the Jay Cutler story. That Jay Cutler had one meeting with him, got on the phone with his agent, said, "You got to get me out of here," and that's how he ended up in Chicago. His meeting with McDaniel went so poorly, he had to get out of there. Get me out of here. Whatever it takes. Horrible. There's a second part to Sean McDermott on Drake May, 22 seconds.
22. So he had 4 and 19. I'm going to say now I'm sticking with 5. 5 danger, the over-under.
I mean, he continues to grow, and this is what I was saying earlier of his development, year 1 to year 2. Right away, you look at the coaching that he's getting in Josh McDaniels, and then you're looking at the players, the people around him, the staff around him. You're looking at, I'm sure I don't know him, but I'm sure the way he's wired, he seems like a competitive player who I'm sure works very hard to improve at his craft, like a lot of us do. So he's off to a great start.
Tough. It's tough when you're looking up at the Patriots.
That's it.
I don't like it. Don't like it. Hard to say that he's telling a ton of lies there. Is it as simple, and I know it's cliche and it's the easiest thing to go to, but it just feels like it's as simple as protecting the football. It really does, Gino. Like, if you don't turn the ball over in week 5, different game, red zone pick, Keon Coleman fumble in the red, just sloppy. You protect the football, you win that game.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Perino joined us yesterday, covers the Bills for the Syracuse Post-Standard. If you're a Bills fan nervous about the New England Patriots, this is Matt Perino yesterday.
I think there's probably a little bit of hubris from the Tom Brady era that still exists there. But you would think they're ready to welcome the Bills into their stadium and roll them. And I think it's the complete opposite. I think the Bills are going to smash them in a big way. In a big way. Guys, they haven't really played anybody. They barely beat a Bengals team with Joe Flacco and no Jamar Chase a couple of weeks ago. They wanted to lose that game to the Jets. The Jets just wouldn't let them on Thursday Night Football a couple weeks ago. And I know it's at home. And I think Mike Vrabel is a really good coach. And Drake May is a talented player. But, man, I think that they're playing the underdog card at Orchard Park right now. It's probably all up on the video boards and everything else. And I think they're just going to roll them.
That's bold. I'll give Matt. Look, Matt covers the team day in and day out. Can we really see a Bills blowout win? Roll them? How are they going to stop Travion Henderson, or the Patriots are going to get in their own way? Because every fantasy expert we talked to, including Michael LaFleur, like, why do they not use Henderson more than Ramondre Stevenson? The Bills have trouble with the speedy running back. See Devin Achane. See Bijan Robinson. I think Stevenson, he's no Bijan Robinson, but my gosh, they have trouble with the speed on the outside.
Yeah, Henderson could be a problem with his speed. They don't really have anybody to match up with the speed, except for Hairston at the corner. I'm worried about Diggs. What's your plan for Diggs? How are you going to cover him? How are you going to make sure he doesn't have the kind of afternoon he had in Week 5 when they played in primetime? It should be fun. It's going to be interesting. Blowout for the Buffalo Bills. Well, Perino believes it. If it's good, if Perino is saying it, I want to agree with them. We still got a little bit of time here this week to kind of see how it all shakes out. The injury report for the Buffalo Bills, today's practice is out. Terrell Bernard was out there in a limited fashion, if I'm not mistaken. Handful of players that the Bills could be getting back. Joey Bosa. We know that, as I mentioned before, Spencer Brown has said he's good to go for Sunday. He's missed the last 2 with a shoulder injury. So, Bills getting healthier to win 2-game winning streak. Winning the way that they've been winning. Let's see how it all shakes out in Foxborough. You'll be able to hear the action here on the Fan Rochester with our pregame coverage starting 9 a.m.
Does this factor one way or another? Can I interest you in another snow game? 32 in snow showers, the forecast in Foxborough Sunday.
Oh, just makes me glad that we can hunker down and watch the game around a fire instead of being there, instead of having to venture off. Yeah, that's going to be fun. And they run the ball better than anybody else. So if you're the Buffalo Bills heading into December and January, knowing that you have the best rushing offense in the league is comforting. That's comforting. Should be able to continue against New England. There's a couple of other notes from the NFL before we get to Fitzy from WEEI, Gino. Did you see that this is big news for East Coast dads? You, me, anybody that watches the NFL draft.
Oh, yes. This is actually, I'm kind of shocked because one metric is, hey, you're gonna tune into the program, but how long are you going to watch? And the thing with the NFL draft, Danger, is this, that I sit down and I'm only gonna watch an hour here. Oh my gosh, I watched the whole thing. And it's like eating a whole bag of chips. So they have me, but they're doing me a favor by this.
Yes, this is the rare time the NFL almost says, kind of late, kind of drags on a little bit. Let's pick up the pace. It's not 50 years ago, right? Like, this is different. So now picks in the first round, the time between those picks will be moving down from 10 minutes to 8 minutes, starting with next year's draft in Pittsburgh. Now, traditionally, you and I will do our draft night live show wherever it may be. We've done it at Three Heads in the past. And we'll hang out, have a couple beers. Draft usually gets underway around, 8 o'clock
8 o'clock, yeah.
And I will, grab a plate on the way home and just eat my feelings before I pass out and kind of half watch the draft because I'm fading in and out of picks. I want to know what's going on. But admittedly, the year that they traded up for Dalton Kincaid, I was kind of half out of it, partially asleep, just food coma. Just real happy place. So this does me a huge favor.
I remember the Ed Oliver year. You remember where we were? We're on South Ave, and Matt. We had a bunch of friends, and then the owner at the time was like, "Danger, okay?" I'm like, "Nah, he's good." And then you ate that night. Then I found out the next day after eating all that food that you stopped for a plate on the way home.
Did I do that?
You did that.
I ate and I stopped for a plate in the same night?
Yes, because we did our live show there 3 to 6.
Oh.
We had the food and the drinks, and then the next day you're like, oh, yeah, I got a plate on the way home.
Not from that place. No,
not from that place. That's what I'm saying. We wrapped up the show.
Impossible.
Bills at number 10 select Ed Oliver.
Impossible.
Okay, it's not impossible.
Was that the year that they drafted Justin Fields? The Bears?
No.
Because I remember being disappointed the year that they drafted Justin Fields. I remember being there and kind of bearing.
Oh, I have the video of that where you're just like, I have the proof of that. Right there, you're like, The year that the Bears traded up for Trubisky, I ran out of power, and I remember how angry you were about that.
So mad. Traded up just for that. Ugh. Hey, the NFL doing East Coast dads a favor. It had been finishing, the first round of the draft had been finishing on average around quarter to midnight. So maybe this speeds it up a little bit, gets us into bed by 11:30.
Well, in theory, right? 2 minutes per round, per selection, I should say. All right, there's 32 selections. That's an hour they're trying to cut off. Now, every team uses the max there, but sure, if it cuts off 15 minutes, fantastic.
There was another announcement, and this is not a surprise at all. In fact, I'm surprised that they haven't done more with this announcement. They're investing even more in flag football, and the league's owners have voted to launch and financially support a pro flag football league for men and women. A league for men, a league for women. They're going to invest up to $32 million, so that's a $1 million donation per NFL team to get the league up and running. And so you'll have a men's and women's flag football league backed by the NFL and their machine.
I'm not wishing ill will on anybody, but I think this is the line right here. Meaning, hey, we're the NFL and we can do our tentpole events. You're going to watch the draft. You're going to love it. Hey, it's the combine. Yes, you're very hungry for that. That's centered around the NFL. This is a completely different product. And each product that is football but not the NFL, whether that's the USFL or whatever arena league or whatever it is, just because the NFL is involved, why would this be any different?
You slap the NFL logo on this and it becomes something.
Okay, so here is your flag football Bills playing in the month of May. We're going to be into that?
I don't know. You know, I've watched some of it when they air it on ESPN, but it's usually like the kids. It's like the high school kids that are playing, and it's fun. It's like, whoa, these girls are athletic. They can sling it. This is really interesting.
And I'm not talking up both sides of my mouth. I think it's great that the NFL, it's like, hey, we're going to give back. And if you didn't know, the NFL gave a ton of money to New York State. That's why all these programs are having these flag football teams, and it's getting girls to play high school sports. Fantastic. But when we're talking about this on a professional level and you're asking me to invest money myself or invest time watching on television,
right.
You need to find that Caitlin Clark superstar. That's going to be the task for the NFL. How can they create some star that we're all going to care about? I just see this as being a long, long road. The WNBA, maybe not everybody's cup of tea, right? But can we say that it's got a place in sports today? I mean, for many years, it was like, oh, my gosh, is this going to go away? The owners keep losing money and losing money. Rome would go on the air and make fun of it to David Stern. I mean, but now it's here. Like, how much money does the NFL want to lose on this?
Well, this investment is so minimal. I mean, think about a billionaire owner giving $1 million for this. I mean, and what that must have taken. Like, how we didn't get this sooner. There was probably a negotiation. Okay, can we get $5 million from you? No, we're not giving you $5 million. We'll give you $1 million per team. Like, these owners are billionaires because they're cheap. They're cheap. Oh, they're not cheap? They're billion. No, they don't have grass on their fields. They're cheap. They only gave $1 million. $1 million is nothing to these billionaire owners, but that's what they're investing. So I guess I agree with what you're saying, partially because this investment feels minimal to me. If the NFL really wanted to make this something, they would invest a little bit more into the league and the product that they're trying to push. We'll see. They'll probably test it out, see if we have an appetite, check the ratings, see if there are people watching, engaging with it, look at the analytics, and decide, if they should pump a little bit more cash into it. But the fact that they got each billionaire owner to part with $1 million of their own, that feels pretty minimal.
Let me correct something I said earlier. I reported that it was Pete Alonso going to the Orioles 5 years, $150. It's actually 5 years, $155 million.
Mm-hmm. And if I'm not mistaken, the second richest contract that the Orioles have ever dished out.
Yeah.
For Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso.
Wow.
There's no cap in baseball. Like, that to me is okay, Met fans, you're upset about losing Diaz and Alonso and Nimmo. What are we doing? Who is the next one in? What, you're going to sign Kyle Tucker? Is that going to excite me?
Funny.
Not funny.
Oh,
Not at all funny. Not amusing.
Every Mets fan I've talked to sounds like you today. Every single one of them. This is awful. This is terrible. Fire the GM. Like, the GM's not going anywhere, right? They're not firing him now. They'll fire him maybe if the season goes really badly.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Did the Bears ever lose a playoff game on your birthday, January 12th?
Ooh. I need to check the double doink. The double doink may have been at or around my birthday. Double doink might have been, if I can get a date on that, I can tell you. I was born on the Super Bowl, 1975, Vikings, Steelers. So every year there's potential for something in the NFL happening on my birthday with great significance. A playoff game, the Super Bowl when I was younger.
It was the double doink was January 6th, 2019. So
almost a
all
full
right,
week
almost
before.
a full week before, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're living in that. I guess. Hey, let me get ready for the Bears playoff game here in the divisional. No, you're not there.
Yeah, right. I get it, Gino. It's your birthday. You don't want to be upset at your favorite team, and here you are cursing the Mets and their GM.
The Jets.
Well,
Is
Jets,
that a
Mets,
Mets?
same thing. Might as well be the same thing. We got to get to Fitzy. He is from our Odyssey Sports sister station, WEEI, in Boston. He's a stitch. Love Fitzy. And I know some of you might hear him and hear some of that Boston sports fan arrogance. And I think he's a little bit different. He doesn't carry the same arrogance as, say, Binkley does about the Chiefs, right? It's different because he's comical about it. And I think he's realistic about it as well. Whereas Binkley, we keep receipts, the disrespect. Like Fitzy's, I think, more of a, yeah, guys, this is just what it is. Hey, we're happy that we're here. But there are some Patriot fans that have crawled out of the woodwork and are screaming Super Bowl.
I think Kansas City, there's a little bit of insecurity. Like, we have a lot of insecurity here in Rochester. Like, when it comes to Boston, it's just it's that East Coast arrogance. It's a fine flavor of arrogance in Boston.
See if you can spot it when we speak to Fitzy from WEEI in Boston next on the Fan Rochester.
Rochester Sports Update.
Good news on the Bills injury front as Spencer Brown, the right tackle, says he's back. He will play against the Patriots coming up on Sunday. Josh Allen, the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Again, 18th time in his career he's won the award. Allen, talking about that first matchup against New England.
They're a really good football team. If we go back and we can say we turned it over, I think 3 times that game, which, you're not going to win many football games doing that. So, yeah, we got to have all hands on deck, and we're going to need everybody this week.
Tight end Dawson Knox today excused from practice for personal reasons. Nick Fitzy-Stevens, WEEI. He'll join us next year in the sports bar. Pete Alonso no longer a Met. Alonso today signing 5 years, $155 million with the Baltimore Orioles. Emmerich's on the road tonight. They're in Belleville. Andrew Mossbrooks will have your call here on The Fan beginning at 7. Gene Battaglia, the sports leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950, The Fan, Rochester.
Or on the rocks. It's the Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia on the Sports Leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950 The Fan, Rochester.
Welcome back into the Sports Bar. It's Danger and Battaglia. Big weekend for the Buffalo Bills. The first place New England Patriots looking to stake their claim. It's a T-shirt and hat game for the Patriots. Yeah. We welcome in our buddy Fitzy from WEEI in Boston. And I was telling Gino before we talked to you today that I have a feeling we're going to get a different tone out of Fitzy from the last few times that we've talked to him. Your team's in first place, and the AFC East sure feels different this season.
Yes, it's kind of fun going back from being the Foxborough forlorn, which I was the last couple of years, as you guys wrested control of the AFC East from your previous oppressor, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick and company, now to being the Foxborough frontrunner again. And I got to tell you, as a Pats fan in general, you boys know I apologize for nothing. But, man, I appreciate you guys keeping the throne warm for us all this time.
Wow.
It's way more comfortable than I remember it, guys. It's awesome.
Is it fun this season? You didn't expect this coming in. The Patriots lost to Aaron Rodgers. You lost to the crummy Raiders. Like, honestly, how did the turnaround happen? Was it just one magical win over Buffalo? Because I look at that night and I say, okay, Diggs went off. The Patriots did some good things, but it's 2 turnovers in my mind. And granted, that Buffalo did that. But since that point, what has changed for this Patriot team?
All right, let's be honest. The Steelers game, turnovers happen, this, that, the other, your mother, your brother. I get it. But, the Raiders game will continue to be thoroughly inexcusable. I mean, has anyone, stuck a mirror under Pete Carroll's nose just to make sure that guy's alive? Or is he pulling a weekend at Bernie's propped up on the sideline every Sunday in the NFL? That is a horrific football team, and I'm stunned the Pats lost to him. That said, I don't think any of us saw what was going to transpire at Highland Mark Stadium, or whatever you guys call it. I still call it Orchard Park. Frank Rich, whatever. That Week 5 game is still a stunner to me. It's the game of the season as well, and I'm sure it was extra painful for you guys coming in 4-0, figuring you would put down the insurrection led by the Patriots, and the, X-Men Timu mutant version of Josh Allen and Drake May. But here comes Steph Diggs at 2 Diggs, leaving Buffalo, and a couple of years later returning to deliver the fatal blow. It just must have been just a brutal evening for you guys. And that was the turnaround for the Patriots. They haven't lost since. Funny thing, the Patriots literally haven't lost since the summertime. Like a Red Sox loss happened more recently than the Patriots. It's unbelievable. And it's as simple as this, guys. It's as simple as this. Drake May's deep balls, please don't read any further into that. That's not a holiday special. Although maybe his wife will make that on her TikTok for Bakesmas, are spectacular. Mike Vrabel is getting the most out of the team in a contemporary anti-Belichickian way, treating the players like grown-ups, motivating them, giving them the time they need, but also being the prerequisite hard ass he needs to be when it's time. And Josh McDaniels, having a competent professional offensive coordinator who didn't go to Five Below before the game to pick up a book on how to call plays in the NFL is all the difference in the world.
Drake May's Deep Balls coming soon to Hallmark Channel. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Fitzy's joining us in the sports bar from WEEI in Boston. We're previewing Bills and Patriots. And Fitzy, I think that the people that want to not believe that the Patriots are real will point to that schedule and say, well, I haven't really beaten anybody. Look at that schedule. It's terrible strength of schedule. What's your response to the person who says that the Patriots' schedule has been soft this season?
Yes, I know. Envy is miserable, and it's a brutal type of sleep aid to have to take every night to help yourself get the rest that you need to wake up and realize that the Patriots are back on top. What are you supposed to do? Like, you can only play the teams that are set in front of you by the algorithms and the AI robots at 345 Park Avenue. And the Patriots did, when pressed, beat the teams that they needed to. You know, they beat the Buccaneers on the road back when the Buccaneers didn't look like, you know, right now, let's be honest, like Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers look like the guy that plays Mayhem in the Allstate commercials. Like, that is a miserable, banged-up football team. But, you know, there was the Bills game, and that was obviously one you can point to, is when the Patriots' mettle was tested and they were dipped upside down in the hot sauce river Styx, and they've been great ever since. So they do what they do. You know, depth has always been a concern with the team, and I know that's been an issue with the Buffalo Bills this season as well, constantly wondering who that next man is that could step up and get things done on either side of the ball. Both teams come into Sunday, you know, a little bit banged up. You guys riding high off of the momentum of a game where somehow you know, Joe Burrow mailed you guys a Christmas gift nice and early, and Christian Benford probably has not had his feet touch the ground ever since that 67-yard pick six.
We're talking to Fitzy, WEEI in Boston. Bills Patriots this Sunday, 1 o'clock. So, Fitzy, all those years, Brady and Belichick, I always joke that after the first few, it was like Stockholm Syndrome. Oh, there they go again. Boy, I respect them. Boy, I actually like them. This is different. This would be a nightmare if Diggs gets to the Super Bowl before Allen. That would be wrong. I might just quit the sport altogether here. What is the expectation in New England? Is winning the division just fine, or are you going to come for us this year?
Oh, most people would tell you gladly that an 8-win season would have represented a magnificent turnaround, given that would have been as many wins as the Patriots had during the fall of House Belichick and the Gerard Mayo error combined. But now that they keep stringing one dub together after another, as they tiptoe and deep ball their way through this marzipan schedule that the NFL treated them to this year, now everyone's like, no, it's do it. They got to at least make it to the AFC Championship. It's Super Bowl the bust once again, because the worst thing possible happened. I blame Josh Allen and everyone who was overconfident week 5. I blame everyone else along the way that couldn't beat the Patriots. You guys have awoken the Kraken of insufferable that is Patriots fans, and now it's just like the good old days all over again. Just it's wash, rinse, repeat, wake, bake, and Super Bowl. And now I think everyone in town, by and large, and all throughout New England and Pats Nation, believes that the Super Bowl is the end game. And I can only imagine just the lake effect of sadness that would sweep through Western New York if Josh Allen, week after week, just donning the super suit, finding a way to do it by himself, carrying the Buffalo Bills out of the morass and the disappointment for decades, and just getting so close, going up against Mahomes. And just finally, when Patrick Mahomes, when Kermit the quarterback finally falls down, now basically his country fried clone comes up and takes Steph Diggs away, and now he's got to worry about the Patriots all over again. Man, you guys just do me a favor. Remind me never go to a casino with a Buffalo Bills fan, because my pockets will be empty in 5 minutes.
It's funny. You play out that scenario and you think to yourself, all right, Drake May is what Josh Allen may have been when he first got into the league, and he has a great weapon in Steph Diggs. If the Patriots, Gino, I think if the Patriots were to get to the Super Bowl before Josh Allen and the Bills, the only thing I would point it to is Mike Vrabel's a better head coach. You got a better coach and a better coaching staff.
Mike Vrabel has been unbelievable. And again, just talk about like another piece of shrapnel that you guys, found when you did like some exploratory surgery, or like another nail in your morning slippers. Like, wait a second. Mike Vrabel tortured us when he was on defense for the Patriots for the better part of the Patriots' obnoxious double dynastic run from 01 to 09. Now he's coming back as the coach, being the tall, mustachioed, handsome phoenix that rises from the ashes of Belichick and puts together another team that's going to put the Bills back in second place and keep their head stuffed under the sofa again, the way Tom Brady did for 20 years. I mean, this is just such a weird version of Groundhog Day for the Bills and the Patriots. And Vrabel has been awesome. Like, he's really, really good at game management. This is the guy that also, metaphorically sent Belichick packing, but literally sent Tom Brady packing back in January of 2020. He's an awesome head coach. And the Patriots are so far ahead of schedule. To me, the rest of this is gravy and biscuit wheels country. But, I know a lot of fans around the region right now, once they got to double-digit wins, they got their sights set on it. And I just wonder on Sunday, like, is this a soup kitchen house, everything possibly from the closet and then some game for the Bills to try to knock the Pats off? And if not, at least get back into the AFC East race, like lock up your own playoff spot and try to prevent the Patriots from getting the bye?
I mean, I think most of us are reserved to not winning the division. I think that winning the division is there's so much that needs to happen that is out of the Bills' control that the division feels out of reach. But we're now saying, all right, well, with playoff seeding, how would the Bills look if they were the 5? How would they look if they were the 6? And who would they feed? Very good chance you could see the Patriots and the Bills that first weekend of the playoffs.
Yeah, listen, I'll understand. You start saying 5 and 6, and then because I have an 8-year-old at home, I start saying 6-7 to myself. Yeah, and then I'll tell you honestly, I'll understand the phenomenon of 6-7 before I understand how the Patriots got to be 11-2 this season. It's just it doesn't make any sense. It feels like I know Stranger Things season 5 is currently ripping up Netflix, HBO, Hulu, megalopolis of entertainment right now. And it must feel like you guys are like, wait a second, we fought all this time to get out of the upside down, only to get sent back there, by country crock Josh Allen and Mike Vrabel. What the heck? I don't understand this. And the fact that Drake May and Mike Vrabel are doing the worst thing possible, making the Patriots likable, just must be like that's got to be keeping Pinto Ron and everyone else in Bill's Mafia that drinks Fireball for breakfast and keeps an extra flask in their pocket when they go to work up at night. Okay. It's truly remarkable. But then again, it's the NFL 2025. None of this makes sense this year. Would it surprise me if the Bills win Sunday and the Patriots lose 3 of their final 4? No, it wouldn't. But at the same time, I think the expectation is they probably win 3 of their last 4 and they're a high seed in the playoffs.
Well, if this version of the Patriots is likable, can we talk about the unlikable Patriots? Because I have a feeling we're going to have this celebration in August. Hall of Fame. You have 2 finalists, Kraft and Belichick. What does that look like if they go both in at the same time here, Fitzy?
To me, it would be great because this would be the final party that I just always feel so badly talking about. Guys, we haven't had enough get-togethers to celebrate the 6 Super Bowls that we won together. Just one more time to maybe get the family back together, see if this rift between Kraft and Belichick can finally be sealed over. Probably not, but at the same time, like, it's hard to argue that regardless of, whatever sort of misgivings and trappings they've had along the way, that they don't belong. Sure, Robert Kraft has made a couple of mistakes. Yes, to a lot of people, it's obnoxious that he's campaigned for his Hall of Fame spot the same way Harvey Weinstein used to campaign for Miramax movies to win Best Picture. Like, enough, Harvey, we get it. Yeah, you've got it. Great. And then one year Shakespeare in Love beat Saving Private Ryan for Best Picture, and we're all like, how the hell did that happen? Long story short, it's been a lot from Kraft, but he belongs. And for Belichick as well, like, Do you need your pound of flesh to punish him for Spygate or Deflategate or everything else? Or do you just take your medicine, let one of the greatest coaches of all time make his way to the Hall of Fame, and the journey that he takes there will be will be a unique one. Obviously, Belichick traveled through decades of the NFL dominance and probably wants to drive himself to Canton, and his girlfriend will take the Polar Express. So
I was going to say, if he doesn't make it in his first ballot, his PR team might have something to say about that, Fitzy.
Oh, my God. Oh, she is just – you want to talk about, like, the Jelly of the Month Club in the form of a human being. Jordan Hudson is the gift that just keeps on giving. I swear. I thought Belichick was the content machine for 20-something years, on to Cincinnati, and I'm not the Mona Lisa Vito of football inflation, or we're not talking about open heart surgery after Tom Brady throws 2 touchdowns in the last 5 minutes to Danny Amendola with his freaking thumb hanging off, looking like a pit bull bit it in an AFC championship, and yet he gives Brady no credit. But that has nothing compared to, quote, the president of your universe, Jordan Hudson. I mean, the fact that Bill Belichick spends his time willingly, whenever he's not losing games for the University of North Carolina, hanging out with the guy from Paw Patrol's older sister is just remarkable to me. I mean, but how the mighty have fallen. And I got to tell you, honestly, I'm sitting there enjoying it with a big bowl of kettle corn every day. Oh, God. What a ride. What an absolute trip.
Yeah, it's not just you. It's outside of Patriots Nation. We can't get enough of that content. So my question is, when do we get the big expose about what this really is? Or is just every writer like Wickersham really afraid of a lawsuit here, Fitz?
No. I mean, you've got Pablo Torre exposing, like countersuing Jordan Hudson, going back and forth on social media saying she's photoshopped this. She's saying that, he illegally obtained that. She's filing for Freedom of Information Act stuff, and she's like, FOIA, FOIA. I just thought that's where you hang your coat and your shoes when you walk into the house, Bill. What does that mean? It's just going to keep going back and forth nonstop. I mean, look, seriously, guys, 5 years ago, Belichick and Kraft and Brady together were the pinnacle of American sports achievement. They were the North Star by which all organizations in the 4 major American sports, and that includes hockey, they look to them. And then here we are 6 years later. Kraft is begging to get into the Hall of Fame. Bill Belichick is dating Dora the Explorer's twin sister. And Tom Brady is cloning his dog and selling air fryers while he calls games for Fox.
Fitzy, it's an unbelievable world. It's an unbelievable ride. We're looking forward to Sunday. Before we let you go, how do you see it playing out? Do you have a prediction yet for Sunday? Have you thought about it? You guys have this effect. You guys have this effect on me where it's hard to. Sunday I have to root for the Patriots. I can't root against the Bills when Josh Allen is the quarterback. He's too damn likable. He's too damn good. The performance he put on last Sunday, basically, just dealing with Burrow and all of your injuries, and then looking over at McDermott and being like Frozone and the Incredibles. Hey, McDermott, where is my super suit? And then he grabs it, puts it on, and runs 40 yards for a touchdown through the snow, just in majestic NFL film slow-mo. It's gorgeous. I hope this is truly one of the best games, if not the game of the year, and the Bills have given us several. And if the table tilts and the odds are ever in your favor, so be it, because, again, the Patriots are ahead of schedule. And though Gordon Gekko taught us once that greed is good, I don't want to ask for too much. I'm just happy that the Patriots are fun to watch again. So I'll wish you the best of luck, because I know afterwards it'll probably snow 6 feet on Monday in Buffalo, any which way.
Fitzy, be well. Appreciate the time, bud.
Happy holidays, guys.
There's our buddy Fitzy, WEI in Boston, stopping by the sports bar and sharing his thoughts on Bills Patriots coming up here on Sunday.
Pollster Pete, and we appreciate everybody's feedback. The Fan Rochester. Is there a new nemesis of the Fan Rochester? He put up a poll. Is it Fitzy or is it Jay Binkley?
Still Binkley for me. I know that Fitzy's a child. I know that we hate the Patriots. I think right now we hate the Chiefs more than we hate the Patriots. I know that's weird to say. It's still Binkley for me. Because at least when Fitzy comes into the sports bar, he's making me laugh while he's making his points. Foya, where you hang your coat. Guy's unbelievable. Dora the Explorer's twin sister.
You're laughing at your own franchise if you can poke fun.
That's right.
At that relationship, and you're in New England. You recognize, okay, this is really weird.
Give me some self-deprecation over we're being disrespected. We've got the receipts. Okay.
Look at the AFC, and look at the AFC.
You've got your championships. Just stop.
And Mike Danger, like I'm doing my Binkley right now. Fellas, we could still get in and be the 7th team. We'll be the team nobody wants to play.
That's right. That's right. It's still Binkley for me, Pete. Thanks for putting up the poll. You can follow us on X at the Fan Rochester. Love engaging with you there at AKA Mike Danger. He is at Gene Battaglia. Drop him a little birthday note. It's his birthday today.
Will you stop with that? You're on deck, buddy. Be careful.
Yeah, I don't care.
Be careful. I remember the PXY girls. They decorated your office.
Oh my God,
that was hilarious.
Yeah, everything was pink. They decorated everything in my office pink. That was fun. Great memories. Happy hour on the way next in the sports bar. We have time for your calls at 866-4FAN. Let's give away some free food right now at 866-4326. If you're caller 5, we've got a $50 gift certificate to Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten-Free Bakery, featuring one of Western New York's largest gluten-free menus. In addition to pizza, you can have some of their legendary carrot cake, chocolate dreamboat cake, and handcrafted cookie selections. 212 Rochester Street in Avon, now celebrating their 20th anniversary, open Tuesday through Sunday. A $50 gift certificate to Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten-Free Bakery is yours now if you're caller 5 at 866-4FAN, 866-4326. Good luck.
You're listening. Sports station. The Fan Rochester Sports Update.
Good news for the Bills on the injury front is Spencer Brown is back. The right tackle practicing fully today. It was a walkthrough. Josh Allen, for the 18th time in his career, the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. Allen this week going up against New England quarterback Drake May.
He's playing like a veteran quarterback. He's seeing things extremely well. He plays at a great pace. Looks like things have slowed down for him, which again, we hate to see that, right? But I'm happy for how well he's playing because he's a great human being on top of being a football player, and we just gotta find a way to win on Sunday.
Tight end Dawson Knox excused from practice today. This for personal reasons. This just in: Michigan football coach Sherrone Moore fired with cause. Pete Alonso is a Baltimore Oriole, 5 years, $155 million. The Rochester Americans tonight playing Belleville. Our coverage will begin at 7. Gene Battaglia, the sports leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950, The Fan Rochester.
It's time to start the show and talk about the sports we saw. Inside jokes and takes from Danger and Battaglia. Bills and the Sabres and the Amherst. Who gave a microphone to these jerks? Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. With Danger and Battaglia.
It is Patriots week. We are one day closer to kickoff Sunday afternoon here on the Fan Rochester as the Bills look to avenge a Week 5 loss in Orchard Park against New England. As we welcome you in, it's happy hour in the sports bar. Thanks for joining us at 95.7 FM, AM 950, the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, TuneIn apps where you can stream us. Also streaming live on YouTube and Twitch. Our channel's The Fan Rochester. I'm Mike Danger. That's Gene Battaglia.
Buddy, fun show here we had today. Like, I know he's a child, but I think Fitzy is hilarious. That was great. If you missed it, it's in the Odyssey app. You can go listen back here on the Rewind feature. We also talked to PJ Glasser, host of Send It In, BetMGM Network. I'm trying to distract myself from, my baseball team kind of just falling apart here.
Is it, though? Is it fun? I mean, it is keep reminding yourself, it's the off season.
Yes, maybe this in the bizarre world where the Mets win the offseason. Right now, they're losing the offseason.
It's the offseason, though. The only thing I can think of is, look, they didn't win anything with these guys. Were they part of the problem? Were they part of the problem? Were they a problem in the clubhouse? Were they guys that just didn't want to be there anyways?
I understand the Nimmo move. Love Nimmo as a player, but really kind of a liability in the outfield. If you're trying to get better defensively, okay. You upgraded defensively at a different position. It's a wash offensively when picking up Simeon. Okay. Don't like it, but I understand. The Diaz thing is beyond me. He wanted out, apparently. That's the only thing I can kind of figure.
What was the number they gave him more? It wasn't much that they gave him, right?
$18 million more he got from the Dodgers than what the Mets paid for Devin Williams.
Right.
Devin Williams, where, hey, Yankee fan, we're in agreement there. I'm not excited about that. In fact, Alonso, ironically, ended pretty much the closer reign of Devin Williams in Milwaukee. Ruined him with that home run. But Alonso today, as we mentioned in the update, leaving for the Orioles. And if you're an Oriole fan, good. Your team doesn't spend money. You spent money. That's really good. It's just that when you have a team with likable guys, like you still have Lindor, okay, and you still have Soto.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like the Mets are going to be this bad team, but just, not today.
That's the hope. Well, not today. Today being Gene's birthday. Gene, on his birthday, doesn't want to. You have to deal with negative news on his favorite team, yet the Alonso signing happening. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The icon texting us saying, hey, can somebody please check on Gene?
And I'm
I want
like,
to
check on Gene.
Check
what?
on his well-being.
What? What are we checking on?
Catalano, always needling, always paying attention, knows what's going on. As soon as I saw that text, I'm like, oh, Gene doesn't know about Alonso.
Oh, and then you on my birthday tweet back a meme. Mr. Met, he's in Dodger gear, signing as a free agent with the Dodgers.
It kind of looks good in Dodger gear. I'm not going to lie. It's a good look for Mr. Met if he were to go with the Dodger blue and white. It's the off. Keep reminding yourself, Gino. It's the off season. You shouldn't get this worked up over the off season. But you are not alone. I know every Mets fan I think I've engaged with has said the same thing. This is awful.
Well,
it's just awful.
Michael F. Florio, NFL Network, big Met fan, laid it out yesterday. Like, this is the Milwaukee GM bringing in his Milwaukee closer and pushing out Met guys. Okay, then what is the plan?
And what happened when he left Milwaukee?
They got better.
They set a franchise record for wins after he left. Or maybe he set the table for them to have a successful season. Who can say? Gino, it's the offseason. It is the offseason. Your Mets are going to be fine. You're going to be fine, buddy. Well, except for the fact that you're now no longer in the demo. That you are now in the, what is it, the 35 to 64-year-old demo. And, listen exclusively to the Fan Rochester on the AM dial.
I am an AM radio listener, AM 950, the Fan Rochester, WROC AM, Mike Danger. Yeah, that's the thing. I always wonder, like, okay, the demo, why does it end at 54? Do people stop buying things? Do they don't eat anymore?
No,
what
they
happens?
just know that you're getting a discount everywhere you go, and you less money to spend because you're spending it less with all the discounts you get. That's amazing. Happy birthday, buddy.
Oh, thank you very much. And I would thank you, everybody who's reached out. It's the executive producer tonight making my favorite dish. It's a pasta dish with fontina cheese.
Oh.
You bake it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Like calories galore,
Just
but I don't care.
Pasta and cheese, no protein in there?
No, prosciutto.
Okay. Yeah. That'll work.
Yeah.
That'll work. I was going to say protein, yeah, prosciutto. It's a ham, I guess. You get some pork in there. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I think I'm probably getting like I don't know. We froze many of our leftovers from Thanksgiving. I'm sure I'll probably thaw out some of that. Have that for a meal tonight. The Bills got back to work this week in anticipation of the Patriots here. Walk through today. We heard from Josh Allen, who won AFC Offensive Player of the Week for the 18th time in his career, the third time this season.
Which, okay, that makes sense. What about the Defensive Player of the Week? Hey, it's Rasul Douglas. Okay, I didn't pay any attention to Dolphins Jets. What did he do? 5 tackles, 2 pass defense, and 1 interception? Return for 5 yards? Wait. How is that better than Christian Benford? You mean to tell me Benford can't win the award back-to-back weeks, or apparently you can't sweep the awards of your particular team?
I think that's the rule. I think the rule, as it was explained to me by Sal Capaccio, is that you can't give the offensive and defensive player of the week to the same team. Now, I don't know. Maybe you can win it in back-to-back weeks. I'm not sure that I've ever seen or heard that. It's possible that it's happened. I didn't do the research to look back to see every single offensive and defensive player of the week in the NFL. But I think it is an NFL policy when they dish these awards out that they won't give them out to both sides of the ball on the same team. So in that regard, but yeah, Benford, the game turned on that pick six. And Douglas had himself a nice game. He gets the award. Benford won it last week. The game turned on that play as well when he had the scoop and score against the Steelers. So accolades galore for the Buffalo Bills as they have the momentum now going into New England on Sunday afternoon. They're potentially getting healthier here, seeing Spencer Brown say that he's good to go and he's going to be out there. That's good news for the Bills' offensive line. What about Benford? What about Joey Bosa? Learn more about these guys through the course of the week.
Benford, I think you meant Bernard, right?
I'm sorry, Bernard, yes. Yeah. Bernard was out there, I believe, in a limited fashion.
For Terrell Bernard, make sure he's 100% fine before we even go down that path.
Sean McDermott spoke today. We heard from Josh Allen today. We also heard from rookie Max Hairston, who wasn't on the field week 5 against the Patriots. What did Max Harrison have to say about the Patriots week?
We get a second opportunity to go out there and do what we do. I didn't play that first matchup, but just knowing the vets, they want this one back. And this is a division game, man, so it's just one of those games. And I'm excited to be a part of it. But the vets, man, they're hungry, and, I'm there with them.
Yeah, I mean, for the Patriots, they have a chance to make this a hat and T-shirt game. I'm sure you guys are aware of that. And you don't want to be the team to let them celebrate with hats and T-shirts. So not that you guys need any extra motivation in a division game, but I'm I'm sure you guys don't want to see them put on hats and T-shirts at the end.
Nah, no sir. We're going to go out there and do what we got to do, play as a team, play fast, and play free. It's the biggest thing.
It's Max Hairston earlier today on One Bills Live with Chris Brown there. I'm kind of leaning in the direction that Perino steered us yesterday. Matt Perino joined us yesterday. And, you know, a lot is made of the Patriots' wins against teams that aren't that good. Their schedule is soft. Yeah, they've won 10 in a row, but look at who they've beat. And they haven't looked good in all these games. They're beating bad teams. Perino believes this is going to be a one-sided affair on Sunday.
I think there's probably a little bit of hubris from the Tom Brady era that still exists there, but you would think they're ready to welcome the Bills into their stadium and roll them. And I think it's the complete opposite. I think the Bills are going to smash them in a big way. In a big way. Guys, they haven't really played anybody. They barely beat a Bengals team with Joe Flacco and no Jamar Chase a couple of weeks ago. They wanted to lose that game to the Jets. The Jets just wouldn't let them on Thursday Night Football a couple weeks ago. And I know it's at home. And I think Mike Vrabel is a really good coach. And Drake May is a talented player. But, man, I think that they're playing the underdog card at Orchard Park right now. It's probably all up on the video boards and everything else. And I think they're just going to roll them.
That's Matt Perino yesterday in the sports bar with his prediction for the game.
All right, I hear what Matt's saying, but I'm going to ask you the question, Mike, and anybody that wants to weigh in is, all right, I'm going to reserve here until Friday how I'm picking this game at 866-4FAN, 866-4326. Can the Bills get a pass rush going in this game? Because if the answer is, I don't know, well, I would think that Drake May is going to find Diggs, and they'll run the ball, and they'll just bleed the Bills. Isn't that going to be the game plan here? I think it's fairly obvious. So unless on 3rd and 5 you have a plan to get to the quarterback, and the plan against Joe Burrow was let's blitz, let's have different, and maybe that is the answer. Maybe that Drake May, hey, you're still only a second-year player. What are we going to throw at you? I don't know, but if May has time back there, to me that's the number one factor, because I do think the Patriots are not going to be turning the ball over all that much. They're going to bleed the Bills here.
Bills weren't able to get off the field at all 3rd down against the Bengals. It was painful. It was hard to watch. Better than 80% the Bengals were at 3rd down conversions. That's something that I'm sure will be talked about ad nauseum this week as they prepare for the Patriots. How do we get this team off the field on 3rd down? 866-4326 if you want to pull up a stool and join us here in the sports bar. The other bit of NFL news today with, teams getting back to work and media sessions around the league. Oh, look who walked into the Indianapolis training facility. None other than 44-year-old Phillip Rivers. They're just feeding it to us, Gino, and I am eating it all up. I am so excited to see how good or how bad this all goes for Indianapolis.
He's starting. They haven't said so, but isn't that kind of the read here? This is unprecedented. A guy who hasn't been in an NFL locker room in 5 calendar years is all of a sudden just going to walk out on the field and lead his team to victory. Okay. Again, I should not be the one saying this because, heck, I would be happy to say I have a dab on it. I'm beyond that. But you look at Phillip Rivers, he's got a double chin. He doesn't look like it. He looks like a guy that played in the NFL that is retired, Danger.
He looks like what he is. He's a 44-year-old dad who's been coaching high school football the last few years. And a guy who earlier this year signed a retirement, his retirement papers with the Chargers. You would assume to go into the Hall of Fame as a Charger. Here he is back in Indianapolis where he last played.
Maybe that's the new rule. If you sign a one-day contract to retire, you're done. That's it. No more.
Yeah. But he had everybody rolling. Everybody was in stitches. He had everybody eating out of the palm of his hand at that press and media availability earlier today. And at practice, Gino, he's got a couple of inches in height over their other options at quarterback. And it's practice. But he looks like their best option. He's their best option. Right now, he gives them the best chance to win against Seattle. That's crazy, but it's true.
I fear for his health, Danger. Like, this is not a good idea, honestly.
His oldest kid is older than Tyler Warren.
if he were, say, you were going to give him a month ramp-up time and make sure you were in football shape, like there's a difference between being in shape and this. Like when you're going to have a defensive end chasing you down, like I'm sure his arm feels fine, and I'm sure the passes look great, but that's only one part of playing quarterback. How's his footwork? How's his mobility? But he knows the playbook because he installed it in high school.
Yeah, the Colts run a high school offense. All good. That's intriguing in the late window on Sunday. Just how does Phillip Rivers, when they, and I think they will eventually say he's our starter, they don't have him talking to the media today if they were going to bury him on the practice squad for another week.
You know the way that works. He's on the practice squad. He's not going to get elevated until Saturday afternoon. So we're not going to get the official word till Saturday night, but they're going to keep it under wraps. Who's getting the first string reps? It's going to be Rivers.
We should mention also, if we're talking about Sunday, get ready for Sunday with us. Everything you need to know to get wrapped up for the week and get ready for another weekend of action. Friday, we will be live. Friday Football Talk Live. Remedy inside of Finger Lakes Gaming and Racetrack. Man, it's been great going there throughout the course of this NFL season, and I love that we're going there the Friday before a big divisional matchup against the Patriots here in Week 15. So we will be live at Remedy from 3 until 6. That's inside of Finger Lakes Gaming and Racetrack with over 1,100 video gaming machines. There's no shortage of action at Remedy and Finger Lakes Gaming and Racetrack. We invite you to come out.
We can share a cold one and maybe a win or two.
That's 3 to 6 on Friday.
Yeah, and if you get there, like, say, around 4 while we're on the air and we go to break, like, we could break bread together.
Yes.
Literally.
We'll give you food.
Yeah.
We will give you food because they give us too much. We will give you food to try. It is fantastic. And not your typical sports bar fare. It is really good, and the action there is amazing. Giant TV, great place to watch a game on the weekend. Great place to hang out on a Friday afternoon. Certainly worst places we could be. 3 to 6, Remedy inside of Finger Lakes Gaming and Racetrack. That'll be Friday afternoon, Friday Football Talk Live here in the Sports Bar.
It was a story I was going to say for shots here, Danger, but we did take a call like, hey, you guys going to get to the Michigan story? Yes. Sure, I'm more fired today, but this has nothing to do with performance, apparently. 18-6, which, considering the circumstances, Danger, it's not bad, right? Or, excuse me, 16-8. 16-8 was his record, and they're headed to the Citrus Bowl, Cheez-It Bowl.
Oh, the Cheez-It Bowl.
Yeah, which, JR Sport.
JR doing the backstroke in a vat of Cheez-Its last year. That was fun.
That was the one day I did some day drinking at home. It's New Year's Eve.
You're drunk and you're thinking,
I'm like, wait, that's JR?
What, JR really doing the backstroke in a vat of Cheez-Its right now?
Like, don't eat those Cheez-Its.
Don't get me started on Cheez-Its, by the way.
I know. Good go-to snack.
So he was fired with cause. And it wasn't his record. An inappropriate relationship with a staffer is what's being reported.
Was that wrong? Should I not have done that? I tell you, I gotta plead ignorance on this thing, because if anyone had said anything to me at all when I first started here that sort of thing was frowned upon, because I've worked in a lot of offices, and I tell you, people do that all the time.
Can I defend more here? Because our mind jumps to the, oh my gosh, sexual harassment. That it doesn't sound like that at all. And again, we don't know, but this is the statement Michigan put out. Quote, this conduct constitutes a clear violation of university policy, and UM maintains zero tolerance for such behavior. Credible evidence Michigan had that it was engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Well, Mike Danger, if we were working in Michigan, you're fired and I'm fired
right.
because you married the morning show host and I married an intern. So what are we going to do?
Right. The world has changed. I don't even know Moore's background. Is he married? Does he have a wife and kids at home? These are the things that I don't know. And honestly, if that's their choice, that's their choice. They move on. Their interim coach has a great football name. What was his name? It was like
Podgy.
Yeah, but his first name was like Fizzy or
Biff Podgy.
Biff. Yeah, I like that.
Back to the Future.
They are they're a little behind the 8 ball now, right? I mean, like most of these head coaching vacancies have been filled, and I imagine that Biff isn't going to be the guy in 2026.
Well, you got Brian Kelly out there. There's other guys that you could certainly, go dredge up, right?
It's a great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family.
I still want so badly for Brian Kelly to end up like in upstate New York somehow.
Hey, it's a great night for me to be here. I'm with my family, and I'm going to get some hots.
Go over to Bill Gray's.
I'm going to go to Bill Gray's and get a plate.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'm going to go up to Buffalo, and I'm going to go get some hot wings and blue cheese.
And then after
that, I'm going to take my kids to the Bills game.
To answer your question, Trevor Moore married to his wife Kelly in 2015. They have 3 daughters. Well, is this like the okay? So you have a zero tolerance policy. Like, what if you want to date a staff member? Like, you can't do it. Do you have to go to HR? How does this work? Or you just have to quit your job? I don't know.
Tough. That's a tough look. And, we'll see what Michigan does. Now, I tell you, man, the state of college football, there is no loyalty. Loyalty is done. There is no loyalty. It's really going to be, and I think it's funny to hear people talking about, well, we need a CBA. Now we need a CBA in college athletics. So, like, this was where it was headed all along. What did you think was going to happen? I'm all for the athletes getting theirs. I'm all for them getting money. They should absolutely get theirs. But it is the wild, wild west. There is no loyalty. And it really comes down to the programs that are going to have the most money to offer their athletes. I would imagine Michigan is one of those programs that has a pretty good amount of money coming in. Their collective has to be pretty robust.
Yeah. Well, remember, they're kind of still doing their penance here from the sins of their national championship.
Well, that's the other thing, too, by the way.
Yeah.
Just cheat. You know, Sharon, we're not only did you have an inappropriate relationship, you're far too honest. We need guys that are going to come in here and cheat so that we can win some more national championships.
Wait a second. Like, if you're going to cheat on your wife, but you're being bad about that, how can we trust you to cheat in real time in football?
That's right.
Like, you're being so sloppy in your home life cheating. No.
That's right. That's right. Well, that's unfortunate for all involved, and we'll see what Michigan's. We'll see them next to the Cheez It Bowl, I guess. And then we'll see what's next for the program after that. We got to get to a round of shots next.
Yeah, following up on that, Troy Aikman had he had an interesting story when it came to NIL. I want to get your take on this here because there's, again, we're still in the wild, wild west. Hey, we haven't talked about the hockey team plays down the road. Maybe you were up after hours last night. I was like, oh, my gosh, they're doing this again. We'll give you an update on them. Notre Dame, they're still butthurt danger. Even the bookstore is getting involved.
Oh, well, not the bookstore.
Yeah. And then did you know Brian Cox was the defensive line coach for the Giants? Remember Brian Cox, the double middle finger? Well, he's not anymore. He was fired this week.
Oh.
Okay, not a big story, right? Oh, well, a little interesting tidbit here about what behind the scenes here with the New York Giants coming up.
We got a round of shots. We got a last call coming up, too. If you want to have the final word in the sports bar, it's yours. 866-4FAN, 585-866-4326.
Sports Update.
Spencer Brown says he's back. The right tackle will take on the Patriots with his teammates coming up on Sunday at 1 o'clock. Josh Allen, again, the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. The 18th time in his career he's won the award. Allen, thinking about that first matchup against the Patriots.
They're a really good football team. If we go back and we can say we turned it over, I think 3 times that game, which, you're not going to win many football games doing that. So, yeah, we got to have all hands on deck, and we're going to need everybody this week.
Tight end Dawson Knox excused from practice today for personal reasons. Michigan has fired head coach Sharon Moore. This for cause. Pete Alonso no longer a New York Met. Alonso today signing 5 years, $155 million with the Baltimore Orioles. Hockey tonight here on The Fan. The Amerks in Belleville. Andrew Mossberg's will be at 7 o'clock. Gene Battaglia, the sports leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950, The Fan, Rochester.
Listen to the Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. The Fan, Rochester.
All right, happy hour continues. Thanks for listening to the Sports Bar with Danger and Battaglia here on The Fan, Rochester. It's time for a round of shots.
Yeah, more on Moore getting fired. 16-8 over the last 2 seasons with Michigan. That's not good enough, but not when you are having an inappropriate relationship, as the school putting out the statement within the last hour saying they have a zero-tolerance policy for this sort of thing. And, well, now all the internet sleuths are kind of coming together here. A staffer, she looks a lot younger than him, but I guess that's besides the point, Danger. Where does Michigan go from here? Well, they're going to take on Texas coming up in the Citrus Bowl on New Year's Eve.
Okay. Doing cartwheels and backflips into a vat of Cheez-Its. Good stuff.
3-0 lead. Never saved for the Buffalo Sabres, even down to the last second, which Edmonton used that last second to tie the game in regulation. But a funny thing happened. Alex Tuck scoring in overtime. Overtime win against a Western Conference opponent. That's just like a regulation win in the weird world of the NHL. 4-3, the Sabres win. Now it's off to Vancouver. 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Right here on The Fan.
So they were up 3-0, and they gave up that lead, and the goal by McDavid with, 2 seconds left or whatever it was. Last night was weird in the NHL. I think there were a total of 4 goals that were scored within the final minute, game-tying goals that were scored within the final minute. So they get the win. Good for them. They get over on Edmonton. I don't even want to say that they played at the level of the competition, because I don't know that they even do that. But they've had Edmonton's number this year, at least. You could say that.
Yeah, 4 points out of a possible 4 against that team, which they made the final. That's what makes this so maddening, Danger. This team. Interesting explanation from Troy Aikman on why he's done with NIL. Now, Aikman gave money to his alma mater, UCLA. He wants to see the Bruins do well. That was designated in recruitment for a specific player, and the player goes to UCLA for 1 year. He ends up transferring to another school after the 1 year. And after taking the money, Aikman said he never received a thank you note from the player. The current ESPN broadcaster would not disclose who this college player is.
I have no sympathy for Troy Aikman in this situation, in this scenario, because there is no more loyalty in college sports. There is no loyalty in college football. If you see what Lane Kiffin has done, if you see what this player and countless other players have done, they're going to get theirs while they can. And it's not a guarantee that any of these guys, especially if you're going to UCLA, that any of these guys are going to be able to be pro athletes. So take it while you can get it. Make the most of it.
Troy might be thinking along the lines of, hey, I'm Troy Aikman, and I'm going to give this kid money, and I get to be his mentor, and you don't even get a thank you note. A lot of these kids are not thinking along those lines. They're like, great, I'm getting paid. And
thanks, Grandpa.
I don't need mentorship. Yeah. Like Troy Aikman, what would be the parallel to that? Would be like Bart Starr or something. What would be the parallel? It's like they never saw Troy Aikman. They just know him from television.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't know the quarterback that he was. They don't understand the connection to UCLA. And honestly, the connection to UCLA for Troy Aikman will always be deeper than any player in this current era of college football, because there is no more loyalty. Who's paying me? Where am I playing next year? End of story. Where am I coaching next year? Who's paying me? Where am I coaching next year? How much do we have for NIL? That's what's important. That's what's important. It's
By the way, do we have a problem with that?
The product is great. The product has never been better.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. I like the product. I think when you watch college football, it's great. It's entertaining. You don't have the opportunity to, as a fan, if you're loyal to your school, you're loyal to your school, right? But, like in college basketball, we complain all the time that it's impossible to root for a program or a group of players because they're not around for 4 years. And it hasn't been that way for a long time in college basketball. So does that hurt the sport? Maybe. But there is no loyalty in college football. And I don't know that there's been any loyalty in college basketball with the NIL era either.
Well, for pro athletes, go get your money. We always kind of say that.
Sure.
It shouldn't be any different with college. It's the same darn thing.
At what point are we going to have a CBA? At what point are we going to see a union, the college athletes unionize? I mean, doesn't it feel like that's eventually going to have to happen? It feels like it might have to happen.
At what point do we get lawsuits? I don't know.
Troy Aikman's going to sue this player that he gave money to because he didn't get a thank you note?
Well, he's on this podcast and he's propping himself up
I'm Troy Aikman, I'm very upset because I didn't get a thank you note. I'm Troy Aikman, and I wanted a thank you note for donating to my alma mater, and he was very mean. He didn't write me a thank you note, and when I told him who I was, he threw me down the stairs, and I broke my glasses.
But do you find it sort of rich that Troy Aikman's kind of, in a way, criticizing the player for transferring when he did that himself?
Right.
But there wasn't any money involved.
Yeah.
Supposedly, back then. College football writer Ivan Maisel. Remember him from
Supposedly, by the way. Yeah, right. He drove himself in a new car to his, to UCLA. Please, what are we talking about here? It's always been there. Now it's just above board.
Ivan Maisel. We like him. Remember, he was on ESPN for all those years. He has a summer home in Charlotte, or he did. I'm not sure, but he's got Rochester ties. Maisel has a new book coming out, and he also is a member of the College Football Playoff Committee. So when you have a new book coming out, you do a tour. You do TV, you do radio, you do in-person signings. And, hey, if you're going around to sell your book about college football, one stop that was planned months ago was Notre Dame. The bookstore at Notre Dame canceling the Maisel appearance for this coming Friday. Now, realizing this is in bad form, and I don't know where this stands right now, the bookstore put this back up on the website. So I don't know if the signing is still on. What possibly could go wrong here?
I saw something funny cross my feed from an angry female college football fan at Notre Dame. Oh, now Notre Dame is pro-choice. That's very good. No, you're going to have to carry this bowl season to full term, Notre Dame. You should be playing in a bowl game, even though you didn't make the college football playoff. I thought that was kind of cute, kind of funny.
Yeah, I think, and Bart Winkler made a good point. Because the majority of these bowl games, they're on the mouse, right? ESPN or ABC.
Mm-hmm.
Fox has some, but they have a partnership too. You better believe Notre Dame would have been taking the check. It's like Notre Dame is on the other side of the fence.
That's right.
If you're a Knicks fan, do you care? Did you even know that the team has reached the NBA Cup semi?
Oh, the NBA Cup is going on.
Oh, who cares?
It's going to take place against Orlando this Saturday night in Vegas, Danger. The Western Conference semis. Did you know? Or do you even care that the semis are tonight?
Oh, who cares?
Suns and Thunder at 7:30. Lakers and Spurs at 10 o'clock. The final will be coming up this coming Tuesday.
So you've got, who are the Knicks facing?
They face Orlando.
In the semis.
Orlando.
Okay. So that'll be coming up here on Saturday, and then we'll find out who out of the West, out of tonight's games.
Yeah,
right?
So these are the quarterfinals, Suns and Thunder, Lakers, Spurs. Winners of these two games will meet in the semi. Let Orlando beat the Knicks. I don't care.
This is the NBA Cup we're talking about, right? The NBA Cup?
Oh, who cares?
I want the Lakers to win it.
So they take down the banner and they put it back up.
I want the Lakers to win it so they can hang another banner, another fraudulent banner into the rafters. I want the Lakers to win it.
Oh, who cares?
So we can all appreciate the work that LeBron has done through his career, because we haven't done enough of that already.
You say that the hallmark of a good take is it can make you mad.
Yeah.
And I remember one time when we're going through all the crap of that year in the bubble, and you were like, the Lakers, that championship doesn't count. It was in the bubble. It doesn't count.
It's a fraudulent championship. It's a giant asterisk, does not count. Just wipe it from the nice. You're hanging a banner for that? The bubble championship?
Oh, who cares?
No. Sorry.
That was the last time LeBron won a championship, but then again, was it a real championship?
It was not.
No.
It was not.
Last 2 championships, not real.
No, they were not.
Not real.
The NBA Cup and the bubble championship.
Oh, who cares?
That said, I want the Lakers to win. I want the Lakers to win this NBA Cup so we can continue to appreciate LeBron and so they can hang another fraudulent banner up in their rafters.
We learned that New York Giants defensive line coach Brian Cox, Bills fans remember Brian Cox?
Oh,
Bill fan?
who doesn't?
Well, he's coaching, he's working. He was fired this week. Not a big story, right? The Giants are out of it, and it was
that defensive line is underperforming, though. I mean, there's a lot of talent on the defensive line.
Well, and then we make a lot of big deal out of Keon Coleman. What about Abdul Carter? He just doesn't seem to be, doing the things he needs to be doing. This kind of falls on the coach. So, okay, if the defensive line and you have an interim coach, it's all pointing to a new coaching staff anyways. This isn't a story, right? I'm bringing this up, Danger, because I can only imagine how this played out. This, according to Dan Duggan. Sources say the final straw was Cox's reaction to the seating arrangement being changed on the flight home from the Patriots game. The assistant coaches typically sit near the front of the plane, but they were moved to the back on that flight. Why that was such a big deal and what exactly transpired from there led to Cox's firing, and that is unclear.
The thing I don't like about the back of the plane is the smell. You could get, depending on what happens there in the lavatory, it could get a little bit gnarly at the back of the plane. Otherwise, I kind of like it back there, especially if it's not a full flight and you're just kind of isolated and it doesn't feel private jet-like, but you can have a little bit more room to stretch out.
Oh, okay. So you and I are the opposite. And again, I don't even know if this is true. Like growing up there, in case the plane crashes, sit in the back. It's much more safer. I have no idea if that's even true or not. To me, that's a myth. But I like sitting in the front. And don't get me wrong, I'm not the guy who's cutting up and standing up right away, but I want to get off the plane sooner.
Sure.
There's nothing more aggravating than, okay, yep, grab your stuff, move. And I've spent 2 hours plus here in this plane. Get me off this plane. I've got to get somewhere. And if I can save 3 minutes of time, sit me in the front.
You are the guy that gets up and grabs your bag before anybody moves or anything like that. That's you. You're the guy.
Well, but I don't cut in line.
No, you don't cut in line. You don't get up and if you're in row 12, you don't get up, grab your stuff, and move ahead to row 5 before everybody else gets up.
See, if you're looking at your watch, you're like, I think like any rule in life, don't do that unless you have a connecting flight.
Oh, the connecting flight.
You
can always use that even if you don't. I know there are people that take advantage of that. I got a tight connection. Can I go? I got a tight connection. Can I go? Do you really have a tight connection, or are you just saying that because you want to get off the plane first? I've missed connections in the last year plus of traveling with travel. Missing connections, man, there's nothing that makes just a pit in my stomach every time it happens. Ugh. I'm so angry at myself for missing my connection. And it has nothing to do with me. It always has to do with you just surrendering everything to the airline when you set foot in an airport.
I sprinted one time so hard. If you sprint really hard, your mouth gets all dry, and I'm out of breath, and it's still on the taxi. I'm like, can I get on? No. I'm sorry, sir. You haven't left. I'm here. No.
Nope. They closed those doors, and that's all
it.
she wrote, buddy.
Yeah.
Did you know that if you spend more than 2.5 hours on the tarmac, they actually have to return you back to the gate for relief? I learned that on Friday while I was stuck on the tarmac in Richmond, Virginia, where they didn't have enough de-icers for all the planes that they had, and we were waiting our turn for over 2.5, almost 3 hours before they turned it around and sent it back to the gate. Good times. Yeah. The Cox thing is interesting. That being the final straw, I would think I don't know that I buy that being the final straw. I mean, you're not really getting much out of a pretty talented defensive line. You could probably get a little bit more out of those guys, and I don't know. Maybe the writing is on the wall, and they're just going to clean house anyways.
Yeah, is that a good job, the Giants? I think it's a good job.
You got a lot of talent. A lot of talent on the defensive line.
But then you might have a GM that's it's not a perfect job.
No. Does a perfect job exist in the NFL? There's drawbacks to all of them, I think.
Bills was a bad job when McDermott showed
Real
up.
bad.
Real bad.
Real bad. And to go back to our conversation we had earlier with Fitzy from WEEI, because the executive producer brought it up to you a couple months ago. What are we going to do if Steph Diggs makes it to the Super Bowl before Josh Allen?
So, full disclosure, we did that interview earlier today. And then Fitzy called us after, and he could have done this. He didn't need our permission. It's him. It's his voice. But that conversation, he asked for a copy so he could use parts of it. Is that the part? Hey, they're afraid in Western New York that Diggs makes it to before Allen.
If that happens and all things are equal and you view Drake May as young Josh Allen and he has a weapon like Josh Allen did and Stephon Diggs when he ascended, it's coaching. At that point, it's like, what do we have? It's about coaching. And Jumbo Jonas might just be a better head coach than Sean McDermott.
Or Diggs is such a personality that McDermott at the time didn't know how to. He did the best he could for as long as he could, and that Diggs will burn out. He'll burn out eventually in New England.
Right. That personality is an acquired taste. You really have to. That is not a Sean McDermott guy.
No.
That is not a Sean McDermott guy. Fitzy was great. If you missed it, or if you missed our conversation with PJ Glasser, the host of Send It In, you can go on our YouTube channel. You can go back and watch any part of the show you may have missed. You can listen in the free-to-download Odyssey app with Rewind. Go back and listen to any part of the show you may have missed as well. And, of course, we podcast as well at the Sports Bar. You can just search us out wherever you get your shows, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Tomorrow on the show, Carl Jones, WIVB, stops by, and Andy Behrens of The Deep Shot. We'll talk some fantasy football playoff action. JR Sport Brief next on the Fan Rochester. Have a great night.